chaos. Welcome to hell. Later counting losers. Yeah, I know you will. Bottom, every layer stain. They smile in your face while they pick your veins. Corrupt to the soul, rot in a suit and tie. They'll bless you in the hallway, then hang you out to dry. Welcome to the chaos. Welcome to hell. Later counting losers. Yeah, I know you will. They rob you to the core and call it fair. Lying through their teeth like they really care. Can't trust no one. Every story bent. Every single case feels pre-invented. Judge, prosecutor, piece so lame. Same old script, just a different name. They pretend to be real while they pull your strings. Yank hard on your feelings, watch the damage it brings. Lies and deceit like air they breathe. Crooked little circle with a trigger piece sleeve. Welcome to the chaos. Welcome to hell. Later counting losers. Yeah, I know you will. They rob you to the court and call it fair. Lying through their teeth like they really care. Can't trust no one. Every story been. Every single case feels pre-invented. Judge, prosecutor, police so lame. Crooked like a snake, but we say their name. Every day, every case, same place, same face. We see you, we won't bow. Turn the volume up, listen to us now. To us now, to us now, to us now. Yeah, yeah. Welcome to the chaos. Welcome to hell. Later counting losers. Yeah, I know you will. They rob you to the court and call it fair, but we're still standing, breathing dirty air. Can't trust no one, so we trust ourselves. Write our own laws on these cracked up shelves. Judge, prosecutor, please so late. We burn your script, we break your game. Welcome to the chaos. Welcome to hell. Yeah. Yeah. Big screen, bad suit, cheap smile, black roots, handshake, fake proof, cam on, stay tuned, dirty reporter, scary weird face, act like she the best, not a good trait, looking like Skeletor, cheekbone stress, eyes so cold they freeze your breath, talk that talk, gotta step off beat, crowd still locked like cars in the street, she bad news, bad seed, all eyes all green, that's all she ever been, she black cloud, bad feet, open up her mouth and the whole room bleed, she bad news on repeat. People keep watching, people can't yield. Click on the pain like it's part of the deal. Banfield brain, spreading bad thoughts. Wish you'd fall while she counts cards. Evil runs fast through her veins like flame. Say your name wrong, then twist that frame. Opens her mouth, nothing could come out. Every single thought, how I get that clout. She big, bad news, bad seed, all eyes, all breed. That's all she ever been. She big, black cloud, bad feet, open up her mouth and the whole room bleeds. She big, she big. Bad news on repeat. Click on the channel, same old script. She reads that page with a plastic twitch. Wild old hair, weird old face. Spilling cheap drama all over the place. Claims that she cares while she plays that role. Eyes fake wet, but her heart so cold. I'm watching that show like this ain't right. Feeding that fear every single night. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Every last word, a slap in the face. Spreading untruth, telling all lies. Even got to know how to fake a little cry. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Everything she does, all for the chase. Thinks that she great front and center in the frame. Makes it all about her, every darn case. Every darn case. Every darn case. I think she the creep from that horror show. Same cold laugh, same cheap glow. Teleprompter puppet on that glassy stage. Twisting those facts for a click in the wage. Says breaking story, but it's broken trust. Turn real pain into glitter and dust. I changed the channel, but it's still that face. Everywhere I look, same nasty disgrace. Nothing good here, this nasty disgrace. Every last word, a slap in the face. Spreading untruth, telling all lies. Even got to know how to fake a little cry. Nothing good here, this nasty disgrace. Everything she does, all for the chase. Thinks that she great front and center in the frame. Makes it all about her, every darn case. 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 Every darn. Click on the channel, same old script. She reads that page with a plastic twitch. Wild old hair, weird old face. Spilling cheap drama all over the place. Claims that she cares while she plays that role. Eyes fake wet, but her heart so cold. I'm watching that show like this ain't right. Feeding that fear every single night. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Every last word, a slap in the face. Spreading untruth, telling all lies. Even got to know how to fake a little cry. Nothing good here, it's nasty disgrace. Everything she does, all for the chase. Thinks that she great front and center in the frame. Makes it all about her, every darn case. Every darn case. Every darn case. I think she the creep from that horror show. Same cold laugh, same cheap glow. Teleprompter puppet on that glassy stage. Twisting those facts for a click in the wage. Says breaking story, but it's broken trust. Turn real pain into glitter and dust. I changed the channel, but it's still that face. Everywhere I look, same nasty disgrace. Nothing good here, this nasty disgrace. Every last word, a slap in the face. Spreading untruth, telling all lies. Even got to know how to fake a little cry. Nothing good here, this nasty disgrace. Everything she does, all for the chase. Thinks that she great front and center in the frame. Makes it all about her, every darn case. 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 Every darn. Click on the channel, same.
All right. Welcome back, guys. Great to see you. Happy Saturday. I hope you're all having an amazing weekend today. It is great to see you all. Welcome. Today, guys, it's Saturday. We're going to have a little combo. I got some questions about the IDAHO4 situation. Maybe some answers, too. I think I found something. I might be wrong. Might be right. Who knows? But we're going to talk about it either way. And I'm going to do it with all you beautiful people because you are the beautiful people. So please make sure to hit the like button. Please share this out. Let everybody know what we're doing. And, well, you know how this goes. Let's get this show started. Here we go.
Neon lights flicker like broken halos.
Whispers gather in the smoke-filled air. Tables carved with secrets and shadows. Every story's a wound laid bare. The kettle's boiling with a restless rage. Justice written on an unseen page. I sip the silence, bitter taste, waiting for the ghosts to show their face. At the True Crime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. Mirrors cracked, reflections are liars. Ashes fall where the guilty once stood. The jukebox hums like a funeral choir. Echoes pounding through the neighborhood. Every scar is a candlelit vow. We hug the how, we demand the now. No more silence, no more disguise. We'll paint the night with sharpened cry. At the True Crime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. This is not a sermon, it's a battlefield hymn, a requiem dripping from the bottle's rim. The guilty write stories in invisible ink, but we'll drag it all up from the edge of the brave. At the True Crime Cafe, the reckoning burns like a black bouquet. Every shadow will pay. In the True Crime Cafe.
What's happening? Welcome back. What's up? Whoa. Good to see you guys. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday. It's almost the end of March, heading towards April. Spring is down, wind. Forget about that damn groundhog. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Get comfortable. I got some things I want to discuss today about Idaho. Surprise, surprise. I bet you're all shocked over that one. Some things I was watching, as you guys all know, I'm very, I guess, researchful. I like to watch things and research things and look into things and try to get answers to things because we're not getting answers. We never have. So I'm always looking at things. Sometimes I look at things 6, 7, 8 times and then finally something clicks. Or does it? Or maybe it makes me want something to click and I want to talk about it. And I talk about it with you because you guys are the smartest people that I know. And I enjoy having these conversations with you guys. Always. So, there's some things that I was watching. I like watching these interviews repeatedly because I always feel like there's something I may miss or may have missed. and I go back and watch them again and again, so on and so forth. And for that, um, I think I come up with something, may have, and I always want your opinion. And not to mention, we can always discuss whatever else comes to mind when we're discussing this. And there it goes, without fail. One moment. Come on in, grab a seat, and get comfortable. We will kick this off in just a. Okay, sorry. My son calling, as always. Somebody always calls me at just the wrong time. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So, who we got in here with us today? There is a link pinned if anybody wants to join me. You're always welcome. You know that. Miss Krista Marie with Realities in the house. Good to see you, Krista. Karen Polkwas, welcome to you. Altruistic Murder. Welcome back. Lizzie Turtleball, it's great to see you, dear. Thank you for being here. Sleuter75, good to see you. Of course, my amazing production manager, Mikey's in the house. Good to see you, brah. Ola Mills, what are you talking about, bro? Um, Optical Delusions, good to see you. Good to have you here. Let me see. Lisa in the cult jam. Trying to remember. Lisa. Mary Casey, good to see you. Thank you for joining us, as always. Gen 7 in the house. Baby Aim. It's good to see you. Rebecca Seidner, welcome back. Miss Paula, the positive one, always happy to see you. Pi Norman, welcome back to you. Jacqueline Akili, hello and welcome, guys. Again, make sure to hit the like button if you will, please, and thank ya. Susie Little B, welcome to you. Ms. Mamakins, great to see you. Welcome, Krista. Good to see you. Like we got 35 people in the house with 11 likes. Well, what did I do to you? Come on, y'all. Hit that button, please. Please and thank you. The megastar, Miss Meg in the house. Good to see you, ma'am. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my mods that are joining me. I do appreciate you very much. Oh, you talking about that picture? I just changed the shirt on it, Mike. It's the same picture. I didn't want to wear a suit anymore, so I changed my picture. Changed my shirt. Beverly Fuck, good to see ya. Hemi's in the house. Good to see ya. DNA left at the door. Thank you for that. Appreciate you very much.
All right. Whoop. Hit that. Hit the road.
I hit the wrong button. Sorry. Like we got 36 peeps, 19 likes. We're getting there. Yeah, that'd be awesome, Miss Mamakins. So you got to go tell everybody you know. Everybody. Turkey Creek's in the house. Good to see you, dear. Everybody and anybody you know, have them come on over here. I think they might like it. Let's see here. That would be amazing and wonderful, Mamakins. Peeps were asking about you yesterday. Who we talking about, Mike? Me? Or somebody else in here? Mama J, good to see you. We're talking about some stuff that I was curious about. I know we all saw because we covered it here. I'm sure you've seen it anywhere too, but most of us have covered it as creators. But I'm sure you all saw the Lyndon Beck interview. Yeah, right? I hope we do, Mamikins. I hope we do. Oh, she was MIA. I'm sorry. Okay, Mike. Yeah, Meg, everybody was looking for Meg. Thought you're talking about me. Nobody cared where I was yesterday. It's all good. Everybody loves you, Meg. Wondering if you're okay. I'm glad you were here. Hope you were. But yeah, that Lyndon Beck interview, I'm really curious. What was he really trying to say? And then I think I found something by listening to that interview. I listened to it like 8 times. Okay. Right turn, Clyde. Good to see you. So, as I'm going to show you, there was something that came out years ago. I'm starting to think I figured out who it was, and I'll show you. Ashley Jennings. Yeah. Don't be threatening me like that, Meg. I'm just teasing. Krista. 35 peeps in the house. 26 likes. We're getting there. So I want to rewatch his interview, discuss it, and then I want to show you guys something else because I think I found him somewhere else as well. I think. I was talking to SRB about it a little bit. She's not here to verify, but I think I was. I think it's him. And it kind of threw me sideways a little bit. I was kind of shocked. And I'm like, interesting. And what does it mean? I don't know if it means anything, but it's definitely interesting. And then we'll just have once we get through all that, we can just have a regular discussion about these things. But I still think there's some issues there. And it makes me wonder again, what is Lyndon really saying? I've seen multiple channels saying different things. Well, he says this, he says that, he trashed the timeline, he did this, he did that. So we're going to listen to it again. And I mean, really listen to it. It's important to hear it.
And then we'll talk about what we hear. It's pretty simple.
Angie B. Stop. I'm really irritated with the channel that tells me what I'm supposed to hear and see. Very contrary. Wow. You're supposed to hear and see whatever you want to hear and see. That's up to you. That's your choice. Nobody should ever tell you what you should hear and see. It's all about what we do hear and see. And I would never tell you what you should hear or what you should see. I just want you guys to hear and see what you clearly do. Good Lord, have mercy. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Give me 1 second. We'll get moving. No worries, Angie. I didn't think you was talking about me, but let's see. No, no, no. Let's see, we got 41 people, 27 likes. We're getting there. Moonlit, baby. Baby, baby. Fun, fun. And what are you, sir?
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Looks like Miss Kim's here.
Typically unique. Yeah, I have some questions about that interview, some things, and I think I found something. Moto Man's in the house. What's up, brother? What's cooking? Um, lamb for gyros. About it. Reheated for lunch from dinner. Miss Kimmy. Good to see you, Miss Kimmy. By the way, again, guys, there's a link pinned to the top of the chat if you want to join me. Again, I want to review this with you guys, this Lyndon Beck interview again. Listen to it clearly, break it down, and see what we're actually hearing. And then I found something else that I think may relate to this gentleman that I think is kind of important. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. The recipe for, I call it the recipe for divorce. Wait a minute. Hold up. Just finished grocery shop and I call it the recipe. Okay. I see. Margaret, good to see you. Susie, everybody here. Great to see you guys. I hope everything's good with everyone. Yeah, what I'm having are it's like the strips, lamb strips to make gyros. I call them gyros. Because my best friend was a Greek, and I would get smacked in the face if I called it a gyro. So I have to call it what it is. But yeah, thank you, Meg. Appreciate that very much. Typically unique is hopping around with her bunny over here. Tired of going down rabbit holes. It's exhausting. DM did. That's my final answer. Sure thing. All right. So, Miss Gail, good to see you. Give you guys just a couple more minutes and then I'll pull this up. Absolutely. There you go. Do your thing, buddy. Meg won't come up here. I could pay her $10 million. She still wouldn't come up here. It's in the chat, Lizzie, right there. You would for 10 million. Well, yeah, that's probably a good point, Meg. I would too. 10 million rupees. Hey, hey. So, like I said here in about 3 seconds, I'm going to pull this up and we're going to review this Lyndon Beck interview again. All right. Oh, no, not by any means, Meg. I got you. Um, discuss some things about it and listen to it good. And then I'm going to show you something else because I think I found something of interest that answered a couple questions for us, maybe. And I want your opinion on it because you guys are so super smart. Hence why we're doing this. And don't forget, you guys, tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the verdict room, unfiltered. Me, myself, Miss Kim from Typically Unique, Bronx Tales, Miss Logan, and my amazing production manager, Mikey, with the last 24. Will be joined by the awesome and amazing Miss Alana from Truth Transparency as we break it down for the end of the week. I can't wait for that one. It's going to be fun. Definitely be fun. All right. It is tonight, Mamakins. 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh, thank you, Meg. Yeah, if you guys are interested in getting anything from our merch store, that's how you do it right there. That lovely lady with that big smile right there showing you the link. T-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee cups, hats, whatever you want, we got it. And if you're looking for something specific that you want, let us know and we can make it. Understood. I understand, Angie. And if you're not sure, just ask. We'll definitely try to make sure that it's understood for you the best way we can. Just kidding. It's gone. What are you talking about, Lizzie? The link? Oh, it's there, right there. If that's what you're asking for, I'm sorry. Unless I misunderstood you. You should be able to pull it in chat, right? Two above what you just said right there, dear. I'm sorry if I misunderstood you. My apologies. Awesome, awesome. Good to see you, Beach Babe. Can you guys not hear me? I hope. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. All right. No, I'm not muted and altruistic. Hey, Steven. Okay, good. Good, good, good. So, for those of you that aren't familiar, I think pretty much everybody is, but Lyndon Beck is Josie, one of the girls that showed up at the house that was part of the 911 call. Lyndon is her boyfriend. Okay. He was standing there when Officer Nunez showed up. And they, of course, interviewed him like they did everybody else. This interview is interesting. The way Lyndon says certain things is what I'm questioning. And then I think I found Lyndon somewhere else, guys, and that's what I want to show you. So, give me one quick second. All right. What did I do? Where did it go? 1 minute, guys. I'm sorry. Anna D? Anna BD. Good to see you. Mabbott should be in prison for that statement. I'm sorry. That was ignorant. Hey, what happened here? Why is this not cooperating with me today? Ah, there we go. Okay. So, like I was saying, 1 minute here. And for those of you that have heard this, my apologies. We're listening to it again. There's a reason why we're listening to it. If I didn't say hi, right turn, Clyde. Good to see you today. There's a reason why we're listening to it again. Okay. And I'm I want to hear how he says what he says. There's been people out there that have stated that he's been there. He was there, said he was there earlier in the morning. This, that, and everything else. Now, I didn't take it that way, but that's how it's been said by other people. I could be wrong. BTVS Angel Faith always said. Oh, okay. And then we have some other things too. So we're just gonna listen to it, break it down. If anybody wants me to rewind, fast forward, stop, freeze, whatever. Let me know. Oh, I did give you the Amazon link. Hold on a minute. 1 second, Lizzie. I swear I did. Oh, you know what I did? I did. I know what I did. Sorry. 1 minute here. Here, Lizzie. There. Nope. Okay. There you go. It's right below you now. Right here. My apologies. I double clicked on something. It's actually right above what you just said. I'm so sorry for that. Okay. I clicked on that and then I re-clicked on something else. My apologies. Okay. So again, this is the Lyndon Beck interview. Lyndon Beck is Josie's boyfriend. He seems there's something off about him here. Okay. Obviously, he does seem to. You are welcome, Miss Lizzie, and thank you for any support you're giving us. We appreciate every bit of it from all of you. Um, no, you're good, Meg. Um, there's some things I'm going to point out with this. Susie Little B, good to see you. And then I'm going to show you the other thing I think might be him too, which is interesting to me. Here we go. Again, if you guys need me to change something, fast forward, slow down, speed up, turn it down, whatever, let me know.
Okay. Like that's like the 2 apartment complexes, right? And I was like up. Alright, my name's Lawrence. Okay.
By the way, the interviewing officer is Lawrence Mowry. If those of you that didn't know it,
What is your first name? What's your middle initial? And what's your date? 2002. And what's a good phone number? And what's a good address for you? What are you living right here? Yeah. Okay, is that a frat? Yeah. Which one's that? Sorry, I don't know any of that. I stay inside most of the time. And, okay. And I will apologize now for asking weird questions about sororities and fraternities because I just never did that scene. So, what can you tell me? Did you go to the party? No, I slept through that. Okay. I was sleeping at the lights with Joe. Crashed pretty early, and then we were up. We got back up around really early in the morning, like 2, 3. What time did you guys crash, roughly? 8, maybe. Yeah. And then
also pay attention to Lyndon's voice too, because something I'm going to show you here in a little bit is interesting. It might help you with it, but here, listen to his voice itself too.
I'm sorry. I woke up around that time that happened. Okay. And yeah. What help me for somebody that doesn't know the layout of the sororities.
Now, see, the way he says that bothers me. I'm going to play that back again. Listen to this part here specifically. The way he explains this bothers me.
And I will apologize now for asking weird questions about sororities and fraternities because I just never did that scene. So, what can you tell me? Did you go to the party? No, I slept through that. Okay. I was sleeping at the lights with Joe. Crashed pretty early, and then we were up. We got back up around really early in the morning, like 2, 3. What time did you guys crash, roughly? 8, maybe. Yeah.
And then, I'm sorry, woke up around that time that happened.
Okay.
And yeah.
What, help me, for somebody that doesn't know the layout of the sororities, where's the whites compared to, where
So-
both of them will live?
The whites is like, let's say, what's that street? So here's the whites apartment maybe.
Okay.
Like that's like the 2 apartment complexes.
Right.
And I was like up here. And the other house is like back here.
Can you access that off of a side road, or does it come through the parking lot?
You go like the parking lot, you go right here.
Okay.
Go walk through it.
Football distance? What kind
Yeah.
of distance?
I'd say so.
Okay. And that's just apartment?
Yeah.
There-
Apartment.
Gotcha. Okay.
To go to there.
He does seem quite a bit more shaken up than anybody else does, doesn't he? I wonder if it's because of something he knows. Just curious. Just saying.
Okay. So, you guys woke up about that time. What woke you up at that point?
What woke us up?
Yeah, what's, did you
Just
have?
woke up.
Okay.
I don't really know.
What'd you do at that point?
We were just hanging out in the living room.
Yeah.
Just talking. And then we were up till probably about almost 5.
Yeah.
And then went back to bed. And then we woke up in the morning. I said probably around 9.
Part of my question with this is, they all went to bed around 8. And conveniently, very conveniently, they all got back up between 2 and 3 in the morning. All of them. I think that's interesting because I don't know. Why would everybody wake up at the same time at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning? Everybody. They all stayed up till about 5. Again, convenient. And then went back to bed. I haven't seen her in a little while, Meg. So again, they all went to bed at 8, roughly. All of them. Josie, Lyndon, Hunter, and Emily. They all went to bed around 5 in the same apartment. Kinda. We believe. And then they all woke up at the exact same time and hung out, except for maybe one of them. Hung out and stayed up till 5 and then went back to bed. And it's interesting, right around 5, after everything supposedly is over. Interesting again. Just saying. What's up, Moto? How you doing, brother?
Not bad yourself, Dago.
I'm doing good. Thanks for joining me up here.
Anytime.
So, I think it's interesting the way he explains that. And again, he does sound shaken. What else I want you to hear is the inflection in his voice, because I'm going to show you something here in a little bit that is kind of interesting that we got years ago. And I'm not saying 100% that it is what it is, but I want your opinions on it. So we'll go from there. I'm going to go ahead and play some more. Hey, Greg, good to see you. There's a Wazoo mom in chat. Is she here? Looking, I don't see. I don't know. But moving on.
Maybe earlier, I'm not really sure. I didn't sleep much.
Yeah.
And then I came into the room.
Okay.
And
He didn't sleep much either. Interesting.
and I think and She sounded pretty scared. She said there was somebody in her house last night. They ran downstairs and locked themselves in a room because she saw somebody in her house and she could only see his nose and his chin or something like that.
Okay.
And then she was freaking out. She wanted us to go over there. So we got her stuff and went over there.
So you and were at the house, didn't go to the
No.
right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They also didn't go to the right?
I don't think so, no.
So when was nine in the morning ish? When was that time before that you saw?
I was up with.
Hang on.
3.
So that you were hanging out with the. When was nine in the morning ish? When was that time before that you saw?
I was up, went over there.
So you and were at the house, didn't go to the.
No.
Right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They also didn't go to the right?
I don't think so, no.
So when was nine in the morning ish? When was that time before that you saw?
9 in the morning ish. Okay. Because you just asked, what time did you go over there? 9 in the morning ish. Okay. Hold on to that. Hey, Witchy. And that's true too. That's a good point. Very good point.
I was up with. And Jack at 3.
So that you were hanging out with the girls at that point?
Yeah.
Was he there?
Yeah, he was sleeping in the bed.
Okay.
Or he was at his apartment, I'm not sure.
Hunter was sleeping in the bed. Pause. Or he was at his apartment. I'm not sure. Well, that's interesting because that never came from Hunter or Emily or anybody else. But okay, we'll just let that go.
I remember being there though.
Okay. And then obviously knows girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is she part of that or is she in a different sorority? Is she in a sorority right now?
Yeah.
She is. Okay.
Well, I think she might have dropped, but
Thank you,
she's
man.
still technically, or maybe not technically.
Okay. Hang with Beth. Okay. So you woke up, hanging with her there. Normal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, yeah, and
In the morning.
that was what time-ish?
Maybe around 10-ish.
Okay. And then you guys went over to the
Now it's 10-ish that he went over there. Okay. No worries.
house. Did you all drive in the same car?
We walked.
Walked.
Because it's really close.
Not that, yeah, that was my bad. Trying to kill the environment by driving. So what happens when you get to the house?
Ran out. Or they were crying, walking out. And I got there before us.
Was he with you guys left that apartment at the same time?
Ran out.
Hear that again.
Or they were crying.
In the same car?
We walked
Walked.
because it's really close.
About that, yeah, that was my bad. Trying to kill the environment by driving. So what happens when you get to the house?
Ran out. Or they were crying, walking out, and I got there before us.
Was he with you guys left that apartment at the same time, or?
Yeah, he went ahead of us.
Okay.
He was, I think, really concerned.
Gotcha.
And we got there, was inside, and everyone was crying. And I went into the downstairs door, but I didn't go up the stairs because I don't. It was up.
And I still struggle with this. Why was Hunter so concerned? If Emily and Josie thought it was a joke and it didn't take it serious, why would Hunter be so concerned? They all got the same information at the same time. Hunter was so concerned he had to sprint over there and get there before everybody. That still bothers me, but okay. On we go.
There too. He said, "Don't come up here. You don't want to see this."
Okay. How well do you know, did you know Ethan?
Not well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just knowing of him, kind of thing, through the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever talk about Xana or Maggie or Kaylee? Maggie, sorry.
What do you mean?
Did she ever talk just about
Grace.
them having boyfriends, anything like that? Did you know Xana and?
Yeah.
So
They're really close friends.
right. So do you remember them talking about anything like boyfriends that are being assholes?
No.
Guys maybe at work that are being assholes, anything like that? Okay.
It's wild to me that he seems more upset than Hunter Johnson did, and this was supposedly Hunter's best friend, but okay.
Have you seen or heard anything on social media popping up?
No.
Okay.
I found out.
Understood. My camera's about to do the same thing, so. Okay. Is any of the girls that you know of having kind of stalking history or anything like that from guys in the past?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I did hear say something about like a month ago. There was like a guy stalking her or something like that. I think you might want to talk to her about that.
Okay. Okay. Anything else that I need to know that you can think of?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. And being 100.
I don't know if he's crying, but he's got a lot of sinus stuff going on. He keeps sniffing. Wonder what that's all about. Sausage biscuits in the house. Good to see you, dear.
Yards or ish away. Did you hear anything? And did you hear anything? Fireworks? Backfire?
By the way, I wanted to welcome Motoman and Hemi up here with me. Carrie's Goal, good to see you. Thank you guys for joining us. I will get to you guys all here, and we're going to talk about this in here in a second. So, I was wondering that too, Lenny. Good to see you. I heard that too, Kim. Hold on. It says something about Sigma Chi. Hold on.
Not well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just knowing of him, kind of thing, through the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever talk about Xana or Maggie or Kaylee? Maggie, sorry.
What do you mean?
Did she ever talk just about them having boyfriends, anything like that? Did you know Xana and?
Yeah.
So
They're really close friends.
right. So do you remember them talking about anything like boyfriends that are being assholes?
No.
Guys maybe at work that are being assholes, anything like that? Okay.
Welcome, Tomboy. Sausage Biscuits, Tomboy, Lisa Q. Good to see you all. Thank you for being here.
Have you seen or heard anything on social media popping up?
No,
Okay,
my phone died.
understood. My camera's about to do the same thing, so. Okay. Is any of the girls that you know of having kind of stalking history or anything like that from guys in the past?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I did hear say something about like a month ago. There was like a guy stalking her or something like that. I think you might want to talk to her about that.
Okay. Okay. Anything else that I need to know that you can think of?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. And being 100 yards or ish away, did you hear anything? And did you hear anything? Fireworks, backfires? Okay. All right. Obviously, if you think of anything, let us know. I've been telling everybody that you guys have the crisis center on campus. My recommendation would be not to wait until you think you need it. As a cop, sees a lot of that stuff throughout my career. I've learned that if I wait, usually it's too late. Take advantage of those. Go talk to somebody, even if it's just, hey, I'm not being able to sleep or whatever it is. Those things are huge as far as values to helping out. So don't think that you got to power through anything like this. If you have any kind of sleeplessness, lack of appetite, anything like that, go talk to somebody. All right. It's just not worth it to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go see if it's out there. You check on her again. Anything else you think I need to know?
I don't think so.
All right. All right. Come on.
Okay, hold on. We're going to go back. I want you to listen, not to what he's saying, just listen to the sound of his voice now. Don't matter what he's saying. It's what his voice sounds like. This is the most important thing I want you to hear.
I don't know. You gotta stay inside most of the time. Okay. And I will apologize now for asking weird questions about sororities and fraternities because I just never did that scene. So, what can you tell me? Did you go party?
No, I slept through that.
Okay.
I was sleeping at the lights with Jim. Crashed pretty early, and then we were up. We got back up around really early in the morning, like 2, 3.
What time did you guys crash, roughly?
8 maybe.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sorry. We woke up around that time that happened.
Okay.
And yeah.
What help me for somebody that doesn't know the layout of the sororities? Where's the lights compared to where
So,
and then we'll flip?
The whites is like, let's say, what's that street? So here's the White's apartment, maybe.
Okay.
Like that's like the 2 apartment complexes,
Right.
And I was like up here, and the other house is like back here.
Can you access that off of the side road, or does it come through the parking lot?
You go like the parking lot. You go right here.
Okay.
Go walk through there.
Welcome, Anna. Good to see you. And yes, Krista, that happened.
Football field distance? Okay,
Yeah.
distance.
I'd say so.
Okay. And that's Jim's apartment?
Yeah.
The-
Apartment.
Gotcha. Okay.
The boats are there.
Okay. So, you guys woke up about that time. What woke you up at that point?
What woke us up?
Yeah, what's did you
Just
have?
woke up.
Okay.
I don't really know.
What'd you do at that point?
We were just hanging out in the living room.
Yeah.
Just talking. And then we were up till probably about almost 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So you hear Lyndon's voice. We'll get back to this part in a minute. Any questions or thoughts or anything, Hemi or Moto, before we move forward?
Not at this point, Dago.
Gotcha.
I think it's all covering up for the college. They're hiding
Well, I meant about this
what
in
really,
general.
really
No,
happened.
I get what you're saying for sure. Agreed.
I mean,
I just meant. Go ahead.
it's no coincidence that we got a group of people that just decided to go to bed at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
and then conveniently woke up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then you got Rosie and Tisdale's making patrols through the neighborhood and sees a group of people near the house. I forgot what time it was, right about 3:30, 4 o'clock or so, somewhere in that time frame. And we dismiss it. And we're just looking for open containers. We're not going to entertain why kids are up that late around the house. That,
Good point.
I mean, and you got several interviews that seemed like they was being coached. I think Sausage and Biscuits made a real good comment in chat about this too. And I have to agree because everything that's pointing, I don't know if you caught that the other day when you was looking at the body cam when they was removing the bodies. Through a heavy redaction, we got Officer Smith telling Blaker, we may never know what happened in there.
Right.
And we also have Smith in the kitchen formulating a plan to what they're going to tell the.
Yeah, they
You
got to
don't
figure
act
out.
like this,
They have to figure out how they're going to present it to the media.
but you don't act like this when it's a legit investigation that's going on and it's not being covered up. Is what I'm saying. Red flags
Right.
all over it. There's red flags everywhere.
Oh, of course, lots of them.
That's my whole point. I just think they know who it is. They know who did it. They know who's involved. But there's a big, huge cloud that's over this. It's not going to let it be known unless a whistleblower or something comes out and it all goes to hell. Because we all know DM's lying out of our ass. And there is also, I want to point out something. I forgot which hearing it was in Latah. Very early, Ann Taylor was trying to get time in advance records from the FBI. Bill Thompson steps up and says that we can't give them something we don't have. Sir, you're the head prosecutor. You're the one that can get evidence from the FBI. If FBI is not withholding evidence or not willing to give you that time in advance at that particular time, that tells me that's a red flag in itself. It's telling me that the FBI is investigating something. There's something going on here. I thought that was very profound, very early, and it was a red flag for Bill Thompson to say that he can't get the evidence from the FBI. And now we're hearing there is a interview with DM with the FBI that Hitler, I don't know if that was part of the reason why he sealed it or what, but they're not willing to let that be known. So I throw that out there. All the evidence is pointing at Dylan. She knows. But there's a scary element in the fact of if you was to say something, this is going to happen to you.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all, again, it's pointing at law enforcement's involved. there's major prosecutor, how you want to say it, misconduct all over this. Because you alluded it to it the other day. How does the prosecutors walk through a crime scene and not the coroner's just sitting there since noon and has never walked in the house until what? Leaving the house at 9:30 at night?
8:30, 9 o'clock that night.
I mean, who does this? I mean, this is I always felt this way. They have a way of living there, and they've been doing this and operating like this for years. And nobody's never spoke out on that. But we all sitting over here going, wait a minute now, we're getting professionals, lawyers, EMTs, police, looking at it going, wait a minute now, that's not, this can't be right. What are they hiding? And we can speculate, it's all speculation because they never went to trial. It's all never been brought out in the open. That's my spin on it. They're all lying. It's all a play. I thought that from day one when the PCA came out. This was like reading a movie script. Really?
Yep. Now, what I wanted to show you guys next caught my attention because of okay, not make sense. Welcome. So when I was re-listening to Lyndon's interview again multiple times, just trying to catch what he's actually saying, how he's kind of maybe the mood that he's in, whatever. Okay, I was really listening to his voice, my eyes closed, earphones in, all that fun stuff, and it sounded familiar to me. Something about him sounded familiar to me. Well, then I remembered. And now that's why I said, did you listen to his voice and the inflection in his voice and how he sounds? Now, I want you to hear this. This came out years ago. And I want your opinion. Just listen to it for a few minutes and you tell me. Welcome, Karmic. Good to see you, dear. Thanks for being here.
So my girlfriend is in Dylan's inner circle. And by inner circle, I mean inner circle.
Now, I want you to take into account the other interview we hear Lyndon. He's in a bigger room. He's speaking at a distance from the microphone. So there's going to be a little bit of background noise. This is recorded like I'm talking to you right now. Okay. And it is close up. We hear it clearer. But listen to his voice.
Like they've hung out almost every day since the incident occurred. And I've seen her a plethora of times as well. So you're going to notice I'm not going to use words like allegedly, supposedly, because all of this is actual firsthand factual information. Where should I start to clear things up? First of all, there's a lot of misconception about Dylan suffering from PTSD or trauma or any of that. None of that is accurate. In fact, when we try to console Dylan after the incident, she's the one that was laughing at me and my girlfriend and I, talking about we're so weird when we tried to give her a hug and stuff. So she's still the same old Dylan. She's had a rough life growing up. She's been through a lot. She doesn't have PTSD and didn't suffer any trauma. The incident that night, and what I'm referring to with the feds actually put a lot of words into her mouth that she didn't say herself first.
All right, now hold on a minute. I wish I could do this in a different way.
I'm sorry, Dago. I had to beat this with a dead horse because these people are so incompetent of their jobs. They don't know how to investigate. This is kind of like me watching security cop playing detectives. It's all about connections. And I mentioned this the other day. And it's never been investigated, and there's a reason why behind it, I'm sure. But Dylan, the reason why her boyfriend was never brought up or considered, who is he connected to? The biggest gang in the area. That's something that Pavarotti has touched on.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about that for sure. But hold your thought. I definitely want to go back to what you're talking about. I'm just trying to show you guys something and prove something real quick. I just want you to hear this and tell me what you think. That's all I'm saying. Real quick. But yeah, I agree with you. And again, I definitely have no qualms talking about that. I don't want anybody to get like brainwashed going back and forth real quick and just kind of see what I'm trying to say here first, and then we'll go back to that if that's okay.
That's fine, Dago. I just want to throw that out there. I know I've thrown out there several times, but that's very significant why the feds are on Dylan. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'll leave it
I
alone.
agree. So that was something that came out. I'll show you when it came out. That other thing we just looked, and then here's this again.
I slept through that.
Okay.
I think I put it up. Wait a minute. There's a lot of background noise. If we could clean that out, it'd be different. But
I was sleeping at the lights with Jay. Crashed pretty early, and then we were up. We got back up around really early in the morning, like 2, 3.
What time did you guys crash?
So there was a lot of leading statements that they were insinuating to her.
Roughly.
8 maybe.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sorry. Woke up around that time.
And she was really scared the first few days.
That happened.
Okay.
Obviously, after the incident occurred. So, like, the reason none of it makes sense in the affidavit.
And yeah.
What help me for somebody that doesn't know the layout of that sorority time? Okay.
Through that.
Okay.
I was sleeping at the lights with Jay. Crashed pretty early, and then we were up. We got back up around really early in the morning, like 2, 3.
David is because it didn't really happen that way.
so this is what I'm pointing out. Now, this interview, this was obviously done after the interview was done. Okay. And this is, there was time for him to calm down if this is him. He just made this, and it states in here that Dylan wanted him to make this. It was all with her permission, whatever, so on and so forth. It seems like in the interview with Mowry, he was kind of upset, maybe shaken up, whatever you want to call it. And it was right after this had happened, so on and so forth. But to me, I listened to this like 1,000 times. The inflection sounds the same to me. Certain words sound the same to me. And we have it's hard to tell for sure, but the background noise in the interview doesn't exist in this, and that's part of the problem. It's something that it just clicked immediately as soon as I heard his voice, and I was like, wait a minute. And that's when I went back to this. I couldn't remember where I had heard his voice, and it sounds the same to me. That's all I'm saying, you guys. It doesn't mean that it is. It doesn't mean that it's 100%. That's what I took from this. It just really sounds like him to me. So, that's what I was saying. If you listen, I even had my wife listen to it. He's ending certain words the same type of way. He's starting other words the same type of way. It just, to me, They sound the same. I'll do this one more time.
So she never stood there shocked when she saw the individual.
What time did you guys crash, roughly?
8 maybe.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry. Woke up around that time that happened.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? He's kind of got like a drag on his voice when he says it. Like maybe we woke up around 2 or 3. They both sound the same that way to me. Now, the background noise and stuff is going to make this harder. If this was clearer, this one here, it would be better. You could probably tell a lot more. We could probably tell a lot clearer, but I'm telling you, it just was like, what the hell? I had SRB listen to it yesterday. It just made me think like, holy shit, this is the same person. So here's my question. Why? Why did you do this? I didn't even think I probably could have Outcast take a look at it and maybe clean it up. Which one do you want me to speed up, altruistic? This one or the other one? That's all he says, Sausage. That's something else I was saying. What is he really trying to say? He woke up when that happened, is what he said. Well, how do you know that? You know what I mean? It's the way he drags his words out. My wife agreed to it too. And I was like, shit, I think it's him. I truly do. So why did he make this? What's the reason for this? If it's him, I'll just say. We don't have 100% proof on it, okay? But I don't hear anybody else, and it just sounds so much. They sound so much alike. It blew my mind. The other one, the interview with Maury. You want me to speed it up a little bit? Okay, hold on. All right, I'll jump up one on that. Let you.
And woke up around that time. And then, I'm sorry. Woke up around that time that happened.
Okay.
Fed up.
She was just standing in a doorway, like anybody who opens the door. It was just, she opened the door and yelled at Ethan and Xana, and who she thought was their friend. She yelled at them.
We did, Karmic. We went over and we listened to those interviews, a couple of them. I see what you're saying. It's there, but I don't think his inflection is as deep as Lyndon's. That was the only thing that I didn't catch with it, because somebody else had brought that to my attention a long time back too. So there it is. We sped it up a little bit. Let's try that one more time. See what you guys think at that point.
What time did you guys crash, roughly?
8 maybe.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry. Woke up around that time that happened.
Okay.
To be quiet. That's what was going on with that situation.
And they both have that kind of growl to their voice. If you hear it, that like this, you know what I mean? Like that. How do you know that's the time that happened? That's a great question, Kim. Absolutely. Maybe go back to the normal speed.
And yeah.
What, help me, for somebody that doesn't know the layout of the sororities, where's the whites compared to where
So-
the and them both live?
The whites is like, let's say, what's that street that it's like here's the White's apartment maybe.
Okay.
Like that's like the 2 apartment complexes.
Right.
And I was like up here. And
Did you go party?
no, I slept through that.
Okay.
I was sleeping at the Lights with Joe. Crashed pretty early, and then we were up. We got back up around really early in the morning, like 2, 3.
What time did you guys crash?
And she just went back into her room. She locked the door.
For anybody that just jumped in or doesn't understand, I think these 2 people talking, the guy talking in this video here,
like usual,
sounds like this guy.
Roughly.
8 maybe.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry.
That's what I was trying to point out to you.
Woke up around that time that happened.
Okay.
and went to sleep. Everything was quiet after she yelled at them, so she didn't think anything of it. For everyone who's creating these random stories about her being shocked or traumatized, she didn't realize anything was going on. And it might sound crazy, it might sound dumb, but she really had no clue anything was going on. They were being a little loud, so she yelled at them to be quiet. And that's it. She locked her door and she just went back to her room. She didn't want to be nosy or anything. So, she was kind of new to that house, so she didn't want to be nosy and, get all up in their business.
Hang on. So does anybody hear what I'm hearing or no?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Dago. It could just be a difference in audio devices too, different microphones.
Well, and
Some
that's
more bass, some
yeah,
take bass away.
and that's part of the problem. Like I said, the interview room is a wide open room. The microphone's off in the corner, and it's picking it up. And there's background noise there. This is like he's recording this by himself, just like I'm talking to you now. There's no background noise. There's no nothing. To me, they sound the same. And it was just really, it was curious. I was curious, like, why he did it. What is she trying to, the way it was written down on there was that she wanted him to do this, that he had her full permission, blah, blah, blah. Is she trying to prove something? Was this put out on purpose to try to prove something from Dylan? Dylan won't talk to the public. But again, it makes you wonder.
It definitely makes you wonder because every single person that's had an interview or has been in these interview rooms, it's always the same story. It's always the same. Oh, I fell asleep at 8 o'clock that night, or
Right.
I fell asleep at 9. I woke up at 3 a.m. to something. To what was it? Oh, I don't know what it was. Well, you've had
Right.
so many freaking people, like how many interviews these students had the exact same story. Are they being told to say this story before they go into the interview? This is the narrative. This is what we want to, dish out to the public. Because, anyways,
You're right. You are completely right. Okay. And at one point in one of the interviews, I can't remember which one it was now, but you hear it was picked up. I heard something. One of them walks out. It was one of the girls. I don't know if it was Dylan, Bethany. I can't remember. Walks out in the hallway, and we hear a voice that sounds like Thompson saying, basically, we need to go back in. We need to talk about the dog. Welcome, perfect prisoner. And I've always wondered that. Like, does this need to be put on record? Because it's part of the narrative? You know what I mean? I still feel like every one of these people before these interviews were talked to beforehand and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to go. This is what you need to say. And just kind of stick to this. Don't go anywhere else with it, in my opinion.
I completely agree, Dago. I mean, that this is from looking at the situation from a 1,000-foot view. But,
Right.
I mean, that's what looks like to me, because I mean that's the evidence that I've seen, and it's the same story with each one of these students.
Every one of them, yes, sir. There's only one interview that caught my attention that seemed to be a little bit different, and that was the one that was the newest one we've heard recently, and Braden Jensen, where he kind of says like a little more truth, in my opinion. Like I don't understand how this happened and these two survived this. Something like that to that, Matt. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Why are you going sideways here, buddy? Everybody else said stuff, but nobody ever touched on that besides him. Kind of weird to me. And that's what I was saying with this, Witchy. Yeah, it's not just the sound, it's the style, his cadence, and the inflection. And like I said, different circumstances. Sometimes people talk slower, talk faster. The recording devices are different. There's noise in the background of the other one. This is a private recording that he did very on his own. You know what I mean? And I'm
Well, the
saying,
guy was probably nervous while he was in the interview room, so his tone's obviously going to change
yes,
compared to when you're making a YouTube video where you're at home, you're by yourself, and you're comfortable and relaxed, and you're doing your own thing.
100%. You are absolutely correct, and that was the point that I was making with that. Let me find the exact date that one came out. Give me a second here.
What do you think, Hemisphere?
It was the way he was hanging up on his words, like at the end, kind of like a rev up or rev down. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like hanging on the R. Kind of.
Yeah, the inflection, the cadence, and even the style that he talks in his voice. I was like, damn, this has got to be the same person, in my opinion. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean it's true.
Well, it's everything that he said has pretty much been debunked. It has. I mean, sorry, but I'm not sorry.
There's no reason to be sorry or not sorry. Hold on a minute. So I think that came out. I can't find the actual. That was on Docket Decoder. He put that out.
That came out right when the PCA came out.
Yeah, I knew it had been like 3+ years ago. It was quite a while back. So it was right after the PCA, in my opinion, roughly. Yeah. So it came out fairly quickly after all this went down. So again, what are you doing here, boss? And why? You know what I mean?
I think that was the very first person outside of the situation that we actually, like one of the very first videos that we actually heard some sort of rumor or somebody giving a statement from somebody close to Dylan, right?
Mm-hmm. And my problem with this is, according to that person, his girlfriend is good friends with Dylan. Well, I didn't think that Josie and Dylan were that close. So, maybe that's where it kind of plays back a little bit on me. Maybe not, maybe so. We don't even know the truth on most anything, but I don't know for a fact. I'm just saying I can't stop thinking about how close they sound. Okay.
No, I agree with you. I would definitely be questioning it as well, but I mean, at the same time, who knows?
Right. And all I'm trying to point out with this is why. Is this somebody is this somebody that was asked to do this to kind of pull? Hold on a minute.
The connections in this case is just baffling at this point in time to me. It's just crazy. When I look at connections, I'm trying to connect it all up and it just lines up so perfectly. It's just wow. But they never looked into that, never went that way. Unless they did and they just don't want to say it. And they go, well, we can't go that route. Maybe we need to put that on the back burner and we need to go this way and make it fit. That's basically what I see happening here. because it's all about corroborating the story. So if you hear one person say one story, then another person comes up behind them and says a similar story, and it lines up, you know they're telling the truth, but there's one little aspect of their story they're lying about, and then you don't press on that lie. It's like we can't go that route because we have to think about the university and what it's going to be like, because this is all we have and this, that, and the other. So this all protecting that university. They're not worried about them poor people.
I have a strong feeling that you're correct there, Hemisphere.
Yeah, it's definitely. There's no doubt in my mind.
I mean,
Now-
you got blood in the apartment. We see that you. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna go off for the attention. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, it's all been debunked, but it's all questionable. Okay, because we have unknown Mel B, and we have Lacy bloody print on the sliding door. BK has been. They ruled out BK on that. We have a night
He's
sheet.
been ruled out of everything, so understand
Pretty much.
that.
And we have a nice sheet that they said that has touch DNA from Brian Kohlberger, but there's the sheet looks brand spanking new. The person that they put laid in the bed, posed them, put it up underneath them. They're bleeding out. That I'm sorry, guys. That night sheet would be covered in blood. That wasn't happening there. You need statements from law enforcement, especially from Smith. We're going to come up with a narrative. We will never know what happened here.
Here's the simple fact about the knife sheath. You can have Brian Kohlberger's DNA on the knife sheath. The problem is was his DNA put on the knife sheath before that knife sheath was entered the house? Or did that knife sheath, is that DNA on there directly because he was in the house? You can't know because the knife sheath isn't fixed to the house. You can have blood on it. That still doesn't mean he was there. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely right.
Right.
Now,
Well,
if they lifted his DNA, like some IgG DNA off of a doorknob or something, okay, you know, I would be questioning myself. I would probably think, yeah, he probably has, you know, he's probably associated with the crime. But the object that they found his DNA on was mobile.
So it's like the maintenance man that found the blood in Jack Showalter's apartment. Well, you just had a quadruple homicide right next door. But we're not going to entertain that. We're just going to pretend like we didn't see that, and we're just going to move on. Now, I'm not trying to accuse Showalter doing that, but what I'm saying is when they talked to Showalter, there was no pressure putting on these kids. Everything was handled in kick gloves. It was like we're just required to get a statement, and it's not even an in-person statement. It's over the phone. And the prime suspect that you got, we can't hear that conversation or that interrogation. We just got his confession on the plea deal. That's good enough for us. Let's wrap it up, guys. Let's go home. It's over with. It's lazy. It's bullshit.
Is it lazy or was it done on purpose?
I think it's done on purpose.
Well,
Be honest with you. What are they hiding? What are they hiding?
That's what we've been asking that every day for 3 years.
So, I mean, again, I've already said it. The simple fact is it just a coincidence that every single interview, it's the same story. We're in bed. Oh, we worked at the football game, so we were tired. I went home. We crashed at around 7 or 8. We slept through. Oh, we woke up at 3. Funny noises, this, that, the other thing. Oh, but we don't know what those noises were. Well, it's pretty easy to, describe. Oh, we woke up because there was somebody screaming next door. But we can't say that. Well, who told you can't say that?
At this point, I have to believe that Rosie and Tisdale say, "Oh, that must be the group of kids is just that we're just going to ignore that. We'll pretend like they just don't even have any open containers or anything." That still baffles me. We're just there for one particular part of the job. We're not there to do our jobs as a police officer and go, well, this is a college town, so it's normal for us to have a group of kids just walking around in the residence like it's just another day. We've seen this before. Knowing that some of these communities have very strict, like, you have to be in your house at a particular time. If not, you're going to be forced to go back to your house. What they call that? Curfew. You don't even have a curfew? Things to make you go, It's crazy. It's insane.
I can agree. Rhett Karmic says this is hard to break down, but I feel like this is key. When the photo of the sheath was taken, was the bodies there actually or had been removed? See, they're supposed to have taken photographs before and after. Okay. Photographs of it by itself, photographs of where it was at the scene when they responded to the scene. That's how it's supposed to be done. But we know how they do things. But that's a good point, Karmic. It's a very good point. And a big problem. It really was. And it's hard to decide if, well, I don't want to say if, when the sheath was placed. Okay. I think you said it earlier. By who? And who did it? And why? Okay. I think we know the why. But who did it? Was it done by the people that cleaned up the situation or maybe committed the crime? Or was this done by law enforcement after the fact? That's where there's a big tear, and a lot of people struggle to try to figure that out.
What could actually clear a lot of it up, Dago, is if they unredact just a small, like, they don't have to unredact the faces of the victims, but even if they just move that black box up just to show a hand or whatever, right. I mean, and that would give a clear picture whether the knife sheath was stuck there before the victims were moved. That's all they had to do. They don't have to redact the entire body of the victim. They just have to redact like another 1/8 of an inch or so just to show a hand to say that the body's still there.
Absolutely. I fully agree with that. They're not going to, but I fully agree with you.
Another thing I want to point out real quick. Ain't it odd the way Bill Thompson and Jennings walked out of 1122? And the way Bill Thompson looked at the guy that was guarding the door like he was his best damn friend is kind of like, hey, man, how you doing? Like, odd. Very odd.
Wait, say that again.
It was kind of like when Bill Thompson was walking out of 1122 with that body cam, and he looked at the guy that was guarding the door. It was like seeing his best friend he hadn't seen in a while. Hey, how you doing? All that. Odd. That's odd. Everything about it is odd.
Well,
if this is something if this event has never happened before, and you come across it and you see it, and it's about as brutal as they can say that we can only imagine it to be, the behavior or the reactions I'm seeing, it's not there. It's I'll be dumbfounded. I'll be like, what the hell? Who could have done this? Didn't see none of that. They just bouncing out of there like it's a good day. And it's like, and we're trying to discuss about what we're planning on doing tomorrow. Well, we got to adjust our schedules and this, and that, and the other. What? Odd.
I can agree. It does seem like there should be it shouldn't be in such a good mood. Okay, I agree with that. And all I can say is people handle things differently. Depends on how many different scenes they've been on, this and that, so on and so forth. But it's still probably not the best way to be acting when you're walking out of the scene. Like just as much as when Kathy Mabbitt walked out and said, "Hey, you want a booty for a souvenir?" Like that's beyond not okay. So it's just one of them things of how our expectations as compared to theirs. You know what I mean? That's where part of that comes from. You just, I guess, if you have never been to a scene like this, maybe it's completely unexpected. I've been on scenes like this, and I've seen these actions happen. You know what I mean? With law enforcement, EMS people, so on and so forth. I've seen people act like, and a lot of people do it on purpose because it is such a sad thing. They try to make light of what they're doing at that moment. Now, like, and that's okay. I get that. Except for when somebody like Mabbitt says what she said. Now, that's being disrespectful to the scene, to the victims, in my opinion. Okay. Not the way that Bill and as much as I can't stand him, believe me, I'm not taking up for him. The way they acted, I've seen that before. It's just like, oh, okay, take care, have a good night, smile, and move away. But you just walked out of, 4 dead people upstairs. I get what people expect. It just doesn't always work that way sometimes, is all I'm saying.
It depends on which lens you're looking at the situation
Right.
from. When I go to a derailment or we're inspecting to see what caused a derailment, there's the people that caused the derailment who, they're upset, they're scared, they're shaken up because it's a catastrophe.
Right.
But then there's the people who have really no responsibility, but are investigating the situation where they have no skin in the game. So for them, it's kind of like, well, whatever. I'll laugh about it. I'm going to go home, gonna go to bed, and wake up up at my normal time. But for everybody else who has to clean up the mess, well, they're all
Right.
pissed because guess what? We're going to be here all night rebuilding the tracks, and they're all pissed.
Absolutely.
Do you get kind of where I'm coming? Do you get where I'm coming from?
I definitely do. Yes.
Like, I think for Bill, it's just like he probably sees a lot more than what he shows.
Everyday people don't see this kind of stuff. Okay. I've like I said, I've been on many, many scenes. I take it you work for like Conrail or something, Moto?
No, I work for CPKC.
Is it a railroad company?
Yeah, it's pretty massive.
That's what I was kind of thinking of what you were saying that. But I mean, I've even been to scenes like that, guys, where somebody got hit by a train walking down the tracks in the middle of the night, drunk, and here comes a train going full blast. They don't see him until they see him, and then you can't stop that way because they'll completely derail. Okay, so it's too late sometimes, and it happens, and you have to go and respond to that, and it's a disgusting, sad, heartbreaking mess. And people are walking around that scene like, hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're having a good day, blah, blah, blah. Considering where you're at, you still think like, oh my God, why are they not more upset? This and that. It's just when you do this for a living day after day after day, it doesn't always mean you're not like, that you're a heartless person. It just means that this is what you do. You're so used to these things. You just kind of move along. You try not to think about it because imagine how it would be. Which is probably partially what gave me the PTSD that I have. Imagine how it would be every day if you see these things day after day after day after day. If you acted like what you feel, you know what I mean? You got to try to kind of put it beside you and keep going forward with your life. Is what I'm saying in your job.
Yeah, if you took every single accident personally, you wouldn't be able to live with yourself. You wouldn't be able to.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to work there.
That's the hard part. It is, and then you almost feel bad about it sometimes. Like, oh my God. Why am I still doing this? I can't believe I'm still doing it. I've been there, done that, but somebody's got to do it. And I think that when we look at somebody like Bill Thompson and Ashley Jennings, because they're not good people, we know that already. We know that they lie. We know that they're not decent people. We know what they've done in this case. We expect negativity from them in period. That's all I'm saying. And I think we see it maybe a little worse than we did. Like those two, I expect to be ignorant. I'll just say that, if that makes any sense.
Those are the kind of people who try to minimize everything because they
Yes.
want to. It's another fire they don't want to put out.
Bingo. That's why. Yeah. Go ahead.
And I believe that's why this case was kind of messed up through the investigation, because they were just trying to get rid of it. We were coming into the holiday seasons. Everybody was planning their vacations, and this is just a plate of hot shit that they didn't want to have to deal with.
Agreed. That's why I said with those two, I'm not sticking up for them, but I'll give a slight grace there, because thank God, if they would have made some different statements, I probably would have blown up. But Mabbitt is the one that was really, really out of key and really offhanded with what she did. That's disgusting to me. That's absolutely the most disrespectful and disgusting thing you could do at a scene like that. Completely. Shame on her. She should not have the job she has if that's the personality she's got.
Well, these people forget that they're on body cam too, right? And they're not expecting that any of the body cam is going to be released. So it's like it's that gross workplace humor that you probably just don't think about biting your tongue.
Yep.
While you're at work.
Yeah, and she has no couth as far as I'm concerned. You should, and that just, in my opinion, kind of points to who she is as a person, because whether you're on body cam or not, you shouldn't act like that regardless. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. But I bet you if she did know, she never would have said that.
No, 100%. Because she knows. She wasn't thinking about it, wasn't paying attention, and just, oh, here. And you don't make jokes about stuff like that. Is all I'm saying.
And I agree. Like, you know what? Even if you knew about it, or even if you didn't know about it and you said it, yeah, it is gross.
Right. It is. Yes. And I agreed, Joanne. You have to. And believe it or not, coping skills are not as good as you think. We put on a good show. That's a fact. It will get to you eventually at some point. It does. It does. Everybody that's been in this type of service, whether you're police officers, first responders, firefighters, doctors, nurses, whatever, it will get to you at some point. So, and like I said that yesterday, Michelle, her son died not too long after that from something. So what if where he was found, you'd have saw somebody acting like that, Kathy? How would you have felt? You wouldn't have been happy. You'd have been disgusted, as you should be. So, that's kind of I guess you could say, I've always told you I believe in karma, so on and so forth. Well, that's not, that's pretty hardcore for being karma. I don't believe that her son died because she acted a certain type of way. But the point that I'm making is, like, you could see that, at that point, maybe something told her that she needs to check herself eventually at some point and start being a different person, is all I'm saying. So, yeah, that's a good way to put it. She was godsmacked. In some senses, probably. Joseph Weirdrick. Yes, I have. I've actually covered him, I think. He was found in Paradise Creek, just like Hudson. Yeah, we did talk about him as one of the losses of life that happened in this area, since nothing happens in Moscow. Same type of story as Lyndon. Yeah. Or, I'm sorry, Hudson, Lindell. I agree with you. The foregone had revoked their Greek security because they were problem secrets are easily told when they don't have loyalty to the institution anymore. Good point.
Dago, do we know when exactly did they find that sheath?
Well, according to them, it was that day. Shortly thereafter, he saw it on Officer Smith's body cam based on the PCA. That's all we know. That's their truth. That's their truth. Hear me when I say this. That's their truth. What is the truth? I don't know. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's very significant. So if you was to find something like that in a scene like this, wouldn't that be like front page news? Hey, I just found a sheath up here. You know,
Well, yeah, of course.
and we have two guys. I remember seeing two police officers sitting in the sliding door and say, "Hey, dude, you just never believe what she said." You know, about seeing the guy. I just wondering because we see all these cops going up and down, all over the place, looking in these rooms, and they got it all boxed out. We can't see inside the room, so we don't know what they're doing. As far as we know, it may appear to be one way, but it's actually not that way at all. It could be something legit. But my thing is,
Right.
if you was to find something of that significance, you would tell other police officers or say
Well,
something
yeah,
to
of
them.
course.
To
That's
that.
how that works. I'm sure they did. Um, let me see. Yeah, I mean, they would have to. That's part of how that works.
Yeah, because I don't believe that any conversation about the sheath in any of those body cams that we was watching from the time they called 911 till uh, they was canvassing the whole neighborhood, that the sheath was even bought up. I don't
Oh,
remember.
it was. It was. There was um the part where it's in that new body cam we saw. Um Lanier's talking to whoever else was standing there and said, "We're looking for a military issued K-bar style knife." And that has to be because of the sheath. They whisper to each other. So what's up, 1-1? Good to see you, buddy.
Hey,
Yeah, but
going
that's
on?
not a whole lot. Welcome, Cassidy.
So,
That's when we hear about basically they don't say it, but that's what they're discussing, and that would be the reason why, because they found the sheath
okay, so
at that point.
about what time can you think that was happening?
9:30 at night.
Okay,
9:30, 10
so they
o'clock
got
at
there
night.
on. Okay, but they got there at noon,
Uh-huh.
so they was there all day. And my point is, from the noon, nobody. I have not heard not one person in a body cam. It might have. It might have. It might have been redacted. I don't know. I just want a confirmation on that. From the time they got there on the scene, and they going up and down, checking the house and doing all this. And if
They
you
don't bring it
find
up. Right. No, I know. They don't bring I don't know that they're supposed to because they're on body cams, but they don't. They don't talk about it at all
so,
until 10 o'clock that night.
but you see where the speculation of Planet is coming from because we, like I said a while ago, the only stories that I'm hearing Pillow talk about is Dylan seeing a masked man from two officers. That's the only one. I might be
Yeah.
wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm fine with being wrong. But something of that significant was found anytime between 12, the time they got on the scene, up to the time they found it, that was just at 9 p.m. This is when we have ISP, the prosecutor, and everybody's walking in the house by then. It's at 9 o'clock. And they
Right.
just conveniently found it then. My
Well,
point is, did they find it earlier than that and not said?
they don't it doesn't state when they found it. It's based on the PCA. We're to believe that they found it um when they came on scene, so on and so forth. I've seen 3 different versions of when they found it. One point was when I think it was a forensics guy was pulling back the blanket. He found it. One point in the PCA, Payne says that looking at Smith's body cam later on, he realized that he could see it from the door. And then that night they're talking about looking for a K-bar knife that was military issued, so on and so forth. So those are the only conversations about it. There's not one conversation, by the way, there was a knife sheath left here. Wonder where the knife is, that type of stuff. No, you're right. None of that was ever talked about. Now I don't know why. I don't know if it wasn't supposed to be. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it was because there was so much
Yeah,
other stuff going on, but they never talked about it. Welcome, 1-1.
and and it could, everyone just, many people just, sorry, stupid airplane going by.
You're
Um,
good.
People
Hold on,
automatic.
one
People.
second. Go
Yeah,
ahead
go
and
ahead.
keep. No. I was gonna say, go ahead and talk. I'm gonna walk in the other room. I can still hear you, and I'll be
Oh,
right back.
okay. Yeah, people
Go ahead.
automatically assume that the knife sheath is from the killer. How do you know that? Who
That's a
just
good
what?
point. Because what if it was there from one of the girls?
Exactly. What? Just because MPD says that, or and Ashley Jennings or Santa Claus say that? How do we know that? You think like Kaylee or Maddie or any of these girls don't have could have some kind of knife or something? I mean, I know it's like, oh well, they were stabbed and there's a knife sheath. So they were, but think of a scenario where someone's getting attacked and maybe they have a knife or something hidden in their room, and one of them took a knife out and the killer took the knife from them.
I
There's a lot
completely
of
agree with you on one. I think from what I remember early on, I think there was a rumor that one of the girls actually slept with a knife in their bed. Like I'm pretty sure that was a rumor way back.
I could believe it. These are these are college girls, and yeah, I know the rumor. I know it's out there. Oh, well, Kaylee was going home with every person from the bar, and this and that, or whatever. I mean, like, all that like nonsense, which
And
might
you
be
know what?
which may be true. But I went away to college, and they're drinking. I mean, this goes all the way even before college. Even you're in high school, the parties or whatever. People try to take advantage of
Well, I
girls,
don't know I don't know what it's like being a pretty good looking, attractive young lady. But I mean, if I was in their position, I would definitely, want to protect myself with some sort of
Right.
weapon in my bed.
Right. So to me, it wouldn't be unheard of for any of them to have some kind of knife, or especially in their bedroom or
Now,
at the house.
the problem with it is it's the supposed DNA that's on the knife sheath.
Yeah.
But how would his DNA get on the knife sheath? So unless it was brought in from somewhere else, then that supposed DNA shouldn't exist. That's my problem with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a whole nother
Yeah, it's a
whole
nother
nother
topic.
fuckery. Yeah. I agree. I agree. I mean, I can't. You can't have. You can't have two truths at one time. You can't have Santa Claus saying that we can't place BK at the house. We have no evidence to prove he was there. But then say, oh, but we have his touch
Exactly.
DNA and a knife sheath. Well, if his touch DNA is on the knife sheath and that's your main piece of evidence, and it's on one of the beds where the homicides happened. So what the hell are you talking about? Like then BK isn't. You can't have him at the house and not at the house. It's like
Okay, so what do you get from this one?
Right.
My kind of thoughts. They over redacted everything in those videos, even when they were released, even after BK was sentenced. They over redacted the videos because they're still investigating this. They're over redacting because they don't want to give any additional clues out because this is actually still being investigated in one capacity or another.
To a certain extent, that could be a possibility, but I almost think that some of these people maybe they don't know everyone involved, but there's a possibility that they know. I mean, we know the unknown male DNA is all in a few different spots. I just
Right.
think BK was there. I don't necessarily think he was even their first choice. I still think that I still strongly believe that Kopaka was probably their first. One of I could understand him being on the radar. They know him. They know his mental state. They knew he was proficient with a knife and certain tools and whatnot. But I don't.
This is kind of my theory, is because they over redacted everything. I think there's still an investigation going on in at some capacity, but the simple fact is they're over redacting because they don't want to give out any more clues to the public, or it could possibly be the real killer, to actually see what they actually have.
Yeah, it's possible, but I also think they're trying to cover their ass too. Like, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, many inconsistencies. I mean, we have body camera footage, and I know they messed with it and the audio. I believe it was a statement from, I think, was it Payne who wrote it up? I'm still going crazy on Rosenthal and Tisdale. So I believe it was a statement. It wasn't Tisdale writing it. I think it was Payne or someone else that was writing like what they did. But if you read what his statement was there from the document, saying that they were driving around and whatever, well, where is their car? We don't see their car driving around. We have all this video footage. Where are they?
Right.
So it's either you you redacting it because it's an unmarked car. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure people in the area that it's a small town. They know who tis. I mean, I know they don't work. They're not there now. Or Rosenthal is not there. I just you're taking like we can't see the car going around. It's just odd to me. Or, it's just, to me it sounds like there was some kind of operation or something going on, and I think a CI was in that house, whether it's Kaylee or Maddie or whoever it was, maybe opened their mouth too much or said too much, and someone found out and this happened right under their nose. I mean, you read this. I have to find the document again. I mean, read the document. For Tisdale said they drove around X amount of times. I mean, the area is not that big that they were driving around.
Is they're trying to clean up complacency.
Yeah,
and they're just trying to limit their obviously the responsibility, and they want to get rid of liability.
Exactly. I don't necessarily. I mean, is it possible? Believe I work with NYPD. Is it possible does corruption exist? This is a small town.
Oh yeah.
Rosenthal. I'm not accusing him. I don't really, I know he was relatively new there. I think he was with 6 or 7 months. He got Rookie of the Year. Tisdale, I don't know how long he was on at that point. Could there be corruption? Could they be involved in some kind of operation or whatever? Sure, absolutely. But I think the stronger idea is that this happened right under their nose, and it's embarrassing, and they're trying to limit any liability. Like and then on top of that, especially, like, we don't know confirmed yet, but if this guy Rosenthal or whoever had some kind of relation with Kaylee, which we know the rumors, and that's even worse. So he's like right there. They don't want that to come out, and it's a complete disaster. So I know.
Would now in like a crime scene like that, would they actually compare officers' fingerprints to rule them out against the evidence that was left? Or is that
usually do. Yeah, they do. Because they know who's in the crime scene, so you would know that. I mean, they have the body camera and they know who's in the crime scene, so they know. Officer, whatever. Officer Smith has a size 11. These are his boots, or this is what the shoes you like to eliminate them.
So if it was somebody in law enforcement, we would have known way earlier.
Yeah. Definitely,
So,
we
so
should
we
have.
kind of have to rule. We kind of have to rule out all those theories, though, right?
I would think so. The the unknown male DNA and all that. I would think. I really don't think that they were involved in that, but I do think that something went on involved with the cleanup. So
I
it's
hear
just
you there.
there's too much money involved. I don't think that the police were involved necessarily in the killing of anyone, but after the whole situation happened, um, the college, the high up people in the college, was it Scott Green or whatever the hell his name is? They were high. I'm sure because how are these? You know, all these different people. Well,
No,
not
wait. You
too
got to
many,
get it
but all.
right. You got to get it right. It's Dirty Daddy Green. Now you
Oh,
can say
Dirty
it.
Daddy Green. Yeah,
There you go.
all these different people who have kind of come forward a bit, saying that they got notifications at 9 in the morning. Like the one kid said he always shows up to work on times. He knows 100% because he had to be at work by 9:30, and he got all kinds of Snapchats at 9 a.m. of what happened in the house. So that whole area, they all knew, well, to an
Right.
extent.
And Kim's been saying that for 3 going on 4 years,
Yep.
that it was 8:30, 9:00. Dave comes out, does his interview 8:30, 9:00. It's
Yep.
interesting because part of what I was pointing out today was what Lyndon was actually saying in his interview. Is he saying that they got a phone call? He said they got up around 9-ish. Did you get up because the phone rang and woke you up? Okay, and is that what you got up for? And again, you knew about something, okay? And it's interesting, and this is why I pointed this out. Josie and Emily thought this was a joke, okay? We hear them to say that. They
Yeah.
take their time getting over there, skipping, jump roping over there. But for some reason, Hunter Johnson bolts and sprints to get over there because he's very concerned. Well, why is Hiko so concerned if nobody else is? Okay, that's kind of an issue for me. I'm just saying. I think if he's that concerned, why would your own girlfriend not be as concerned as you are? That bothers me. That's why I'm pointing that out. So, and in the interview, Lyndon, which is Josie's boyfriend, he does seem shook to me for whatever reason. Is it because Lyndon knows something is not what they're saying? Is it because of what Lyndon saw, even though he claims he didn't? I'm just telling you, he didn't seem to know them that well. Why are you so upset? Or are you actually a human being? Maybe that's could
Yeah.
be why. So it's great to have you here, Perfect Prisoner. I'm just saying, you guys, that those are all issues to me. They're all issues to me. And then Derek, go ahead.
Mr. Dig, I have a question. I know, like a lot of people have put,
Yeah.
have, or anyone, or anyone else you have up here. I didn't actually say. I'm looking. I'm on my hi to Hemisphere and the other and Moto. I don't know how to Moto. Is that how you say your name?
Moto Man.
Moto Man. Yeah. So I didn't even get to say hello to you guys. What do you guys think about? I know everyone. Many people think Bethany like left or whatever. Do you think Dylan and Bethany left? Like at whatever, I guess the 4:20 or 4:30 mark. Do you think they, like, we know they weren't sleeping, right? So they're on Snapchat and they're doing all this stuff on their phone. But do you think that they left the house?
It seems like they got that mixed up. If you go back and you watch BF's interview, she keeps referring to the week before she left the house because there was people were being too loud by her window. The naked man running, from what I gathered, that was a rumor.
Right.
I don't believe she said that in her statements, that she saw a naked man walking out the door. I think
Yeah, I
that's
heard. Yeah, where did that?
everybody's getting mixed up.
Right. Where did that come from? Right. Yeah.
That came from in the beginning. Supposedly there was a statement made that she supposedly made a statement about that. I don't know if it's true or not. I also started wondering recently.
And a fireman too, right?
Could it have been Ethan? If it was true, maybe something happened. Maybe she saw him.
And then they wasn't there some rumor too that she saw like a fireman or something? I remember that.
That was part of it too,
Yeah.
based on what she thought she saw per se.
Right,
Who
right.
knows?
Right.
Can I throw something out there? I want to finish this thought. What I was talking about earlier about the sheath. I'm sorry. The evidence in the living room, okay, from the pong table, and then we got a mixture between Maddie and Kaylee. We know Kaylee was downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Upstairs, where in Maddie's room, there is a blood sample that was taken that was from Kaylee. It was like somebody was carrying her over their shoulder back up to that room just to put her right back in bed, right next to Maddie.
Right. That's what I think. Right.
My whole argument, okay, this is just my argument about the sheath. Had the killer planted that sheath, well, let me ask y'all this. If she was carried back upstairs and placed in bed, does that necessarily mean that she stopped bleeding? Given all the blood samples that was there on the second floor, but on the pong table and all over the wall. So she's bleeding profusely as she's being laid down.
Right.
If the killer was there and put that sheet there on the bed, just think about it. This is what I'm thinking about. This is my whole argument. If he planted that sheet, would that sheet be bloody? All hell. And we have Kaylee and Maddie's blood all over that sheath. Had that killer planted that there.
Why was the killer
there? With the knife sheath laying on the bed. If the knife sheath was planted there after they had been attacked, there would be blood underneath the position of the knife sheath.
Right.
If the knife sheath was there while they were being attacked, there would be no blood underneath it. So really what we need to see is the spot on the bed where the knife sheath was laying.
Okay, that's what I thought. I throw that out there because in my mind, so y'all understand the way I'm thinking. I'm thinking of two girls laying in bed, both of them bleeding out in the bed. The killer planted his knife as a signature because we know if you study anything about psychology and serial killers, they like to be like proud of their work, so to speak. So it's a signature for them to leave the knife sheath. Them laying there all that time, we don't know exactly what time it all happened. We can speculate sometime between 2:30, 3 o'clock,
right?
Maybe somewhere in that area,
right?
Well, from that time to all the way to 9 p.m., that knife sheath's been sitting there, and they're bleeding out on the bread. Now, how can blood not be on that sheath like it's saturated in it? That's what I'm saying.
I think because it came after the fact.
Yeah, and I think that if you're gonna believe that it came off while he was like attacking Maddie or whatever happened there, there should be more spatter. There should be more blood spatter on that. There's not that much.
The thing is, though, how do you get so little blood spatter on it?
What happened? How do you
get so little blood spatter on it? Like, how do you get just those micro dots?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I don't understand. There should be more, unless, as Dago said, it's it's way afterwards, which is what seems to be.
And that is it me, or does that blood sheet seem like it's really too clean for the killer to leave it there?
I agree with that. In
the time frame that they said that
as compared to looking at Xana's room And then looking at Kaylee and Maddie's bedroom, there's just specific spots of blood, and that's it. It
Yeah.
doesn't look to be much of a struggle. The
Yeah.
bed's not all messed up. There's nothing
Yeah.
trashed. None of
Right.
it doesn't look like a struggle.
Because it to me, I mean, we read the
And Kaylee
well,
fought
it's
back.
not. Well, we read. Well, it's not the autopsy, but whatever that. I guess whatever you want to call it, like autopsy briefing, or I don't know what the hell. I don't know what you call it, but that thing that they released to us, it we definitely have the evidence, as you said. Kaylee was definitely attacked there on the second floor. So the question is, so Sutton was saying there at the end, like, oh no, the only one that got back on their feet because of you could tell from the the blood under their feet or their on their legs or whatever, that no one else got upright except for Xana. But okay, right. But the thing is, Kaylee could have been severely attacked and disabled on the second floor. Maybe she wasn't dead yet, and then brought back upstairs. She could have still been, maybe she was still partially alive.
That goes to Maddie. Okay, so I've never heard anything of Maddie. What do y'all think about Maddie? Let me ask y'all that before I go into my little spiel about Maddie.
In reference to what?
About her wounds. And because we heard Steve G
about her what?
About her wounds and how she was.
Oh, I think she had probably the least of anybody, in my opinion.
Okay, so given Gower's statement about Maddie, she was so tore up that whenever he was taking her home, she made a mess in his back seat. So she puked in the back seat.
I want to show you something real fast. Real quick. You can keep talking, Hemi. I just wanted to show you guys something real quick. I don't know if a lot of people saw this ever.
And again,
this is from the O.J. Simpson crime scene, okay? And I just want you to see just a glimpse of this. Just a quick one. Trigger warning straight out of the gate. But watch this real quick.
What exactly is a crime scene?
Well, very good question, and this is why. When you first arrive at a crime scene, I'm not interested in going right to the victims. I'm interested in the scene itself. If somebody commits a murder and then takes off.
Okay, now look at all. Did you see that?
Yep.
When you first
watch that again.
At a crime scene.
We don't need to hear him. I just want you to see the visual, okay? And again, trigger warning, everybody. My apologies that there's just. Hold on. It's just to prove a point. Look at all of that, guys. That's insane. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're in turn with there was 2 people attacked at the O.J. Simpson scene. Not 4. A lot of blood, folks. A lot of blood.
Yeah.
And it's proof. Okay. And this has been talked about before, like seeing the O.J. Simpson crime scene and then seeing the IDAHO4. And I know they're 2 different murders, 2 different types of things happen. There was a knife, for sure. That's the same. But the point is look at it as compared to what we've seen. And in my opinion, this plays to the fact that there was definitely a cleanup to some aspect, at least. And as the comparison between Maddie's room and Xana's room, once again, just saying, I just wanted that to be shown and to understand like what the differences are, in my opinion, in a scene that's not been messed with and a scene that has been. It's so much. Okay. Sorry. I don't know what I'm doing here. Here we go. Um, and the bed sheets in Maddie's room, and the wall, and the floor, and come on. That's why I won't believe. You can't force me to believe that Kaylee was attacked in that room. I just can't. And again, knowing that Kaylee had massive defensive wounds. Again,
Well,
you don't look like it.
their own specialist, their own forensic specialist,
Right.
made the conclusion. The only issue is that she was given improper info at first. So that
Yeah,
spatter, what is
definitely.
it? What was it? Number 34 or whatever. What that one on the beer pong table? She thought it was Xana's.
Right.
When she thought it was Xana's, she had no problem drawing a conclusion that was spatter from an attack. That's what that some of those
Yeah.
marks came from. But as soon as she found out that it wasn't Xana, that it was Kaylee's blood, she removed that statement. Well, just because now it's Kaylee's blood, you're just interchanging Kaylee's blood now for putting her name in instead of Xana. Okay, well it still made the same mark.
Yeah.
So what? Now because it's Kaylee's blood, she wasn't attacked there?
Yeah, no kidding.
And that doesn't go, of course, because it doesn't go with their narrative that they were killed in their sleep and they were killed or partially asleep, and this all happened in 3 minutes and it's one killer. And if you start to add up all this stuff, oh well, the killer killed Maddie, and then Kaylee ran downstairs and now you start getting into this, well, yeah, it's kind of hard to believe that one person was involved with this.
I agree. I think it's
Right.
just one fixed narrative. I think the narrative was concocted that night, that the night of the initial investigation at 9 p.m. or whenever Bill Thompson and Jennings were there. And I think that was a directive through every single interview and to the media, to the university. This is the narrative that we're going with. This is our story that we're sticking with. Let's get this shit pile off of our plates and let's have a good Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I walk y'all through something real quick? In my thought process about Maddie.
Okay.
Sure.
Go for it.
This is an open, just kind of like a.
I gotta go, guys. Have a good day.
All
All
right.
right, Moto. Thanks, brother. Take care, bud.
So through Dylan's statement, she said she heard Kaylee playing music with Murphy by her room.
Yeah.
In the living room. Yeah.
Right.
Then she hears somebody go upstairs and says somebody's here, and they ran right back downstairs
As fast as she could.
as fast as she could. And that's when all that took place.
Yeah.
Could it be Kaylee went upstairs because she knew Maddie was passed out sleeping because she was so screwed up that night, drunk. Okay. She walked up to check on Maddie and she saw the perp there killing Maddie. And she about to lost her shit. And she ran downstairs. The killer chased her downstairs. She tried to go downstairs again to the front door to get out of the house, but there was another perp that was so happened to be that was coming from that little spare bedroom. If you remember, we saw in a picture how it was kind of disturbed, like somebody was trying to sneak in the bedroom or in that the window and was trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Where you following me?
Yeah.
I do with
So-
to an extent with that. I'll give you
So
another.
she saw him coming out of the room, and this is probably where Bethany was starting to say, well, I heard firecrackers or saw some sparks or whatever it was, okay? He chased her, Kaylee, right back upstairs, and that's where they got Kaylee, threw her on the pong table. That's where we got all the blood evidence from Kaylee right there on that pong table. the perp from upstairs that killed Maddie, I know that because there's a mixture of blood from Maddie with Kaylee on the banister.
Right.
Well, also, after they got done with Kaylee, the perp picked her up, took her back upstairs. How we know that? There is a picture of a blood stain that was on Maddie's door that
Yeah.
matches Kaylee.
Yes. Yeah. On the
That's
outside.
when,
Right. On the outside of the door frame. Right. Right.
right. That's when he posed Kaylee in bed right beside by side. Now, my question is, knowing that Maddie and Kaylee were such good friends and they always slept together, with that being in mind, whoever did this knew that. Just throwing that out there. I don't believe that it was said from Bethany that it was Maddie that came downstairs looking for Murphy. I think that was Kaylee. She got it mixed up.
Yeah. And another thing that's a little odd with that too is going by Dylan's statement there that oh, she heard Kaylee and Murphy go upstairs and that whole thing what you're talking about there. Oh, and she hears I'm gonna help you, and then she hears the stairs again. The weird thing with that, so if you live with a bunch of people and you're in your house and you're like, oh, I hear my that sounds like Uncle whatever, Uncle Tom. Well, when if you think that something is wrong, right? Wouldn't you call Uncle Tom? So if she's giving this story and saying how she heard Kaylee go up the stairs and she thought she heard her crying and I heard someone say I'm here to help you and then here's the stairs again. She doesn't call Kaylee, she calls Xana. It's like so awkward. Like why is she calling Xana?
Another thing that I'm hung up on is the 17-minute FaceTime call to Jack Decor.
Right. But did we ever get a final answer on that, Dago? I know it in the documents there. Is that I know like Lee was covering it. Was that from the night before or
we covered it here too. We can't find a final answer on it for sure.
Like they worded it's like worded, so it's like an awkwardly worded, right, in the document there.
Knowing how busy, but
the verbiage is strange.
I'm sorry, Dago. Go ahead.
I was just saying to him to responding to 1-1. Yeah, the verbiage is weird for that, which is why we can't get like an absolute to it. You know what I mean?
Ain't it funny how it just went away? There's rumors even then. This is not proven to be fact or anything. It's just rumor. The kids over there at the grub truck had their phones out.
Yes.
And FaceTime 17 minutes. And then to hear that rumor about somebody potentially filmed it, the whole event, and only a certain people saw it.
Yeah, I don't know what I think of that situation. I struggle with that, but I mean, everything and anything is plausible in this case. That thing I do struggle with because I think police would have really probably had all that. You know what I'm saying? They'd have been able to find it. Thank you, Meg.
But boy, if I'm not saying it's true. Again, it's just rumors, speculation. That was out there. Okay. Had that happened, let's just play devil's advocate. Had that happened, and the police knew about it, or the college, they want to get rid of it. Period.
Right.
Because had they not done that, it would have blown everything out of the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And the big thing is they're messing with the timeline, the whole timeline thing.
Oh, that's where I was going next.
Yeah, the whole timeline thing. Like, what is the big deal about why can't we know when Ethan and Xana got home?
Right.
They know. They have the info. There are plenty of things I've said before. Again, it's not proof of life, but at least just poking a hole, and it would give open to a theory. They can get the router log of when Ethan and Xana connected when they were at least in the vicinity of the house of 1122. When they everyone's like, worried about when Kohlberger. Oh, did he try to connect to the, because people sometimes leave their Wi-Fi thing on. Did he try to connect to their router? Well, what about the actual victims themselves?
Right.
You can't give us a direct timeline of when Ethan and Xana got home, and that's a pretty important piece of the puzzle.
Well,
I would
between that and some other thoughts I've had, I was actually going to show you guys something from 6 months ago that was put out and about the timeline falling apart.
Yeah.
And the 4 a.m. deception being exposed, so on and so forth. I wanted to go back to this. It's interesting. Casper West put this out. I follow a lot of the stuff he did. This is actually really interesting. Evidence marker number 14 shows she's on Maddie's bed. There's spatter on the sheet. Apparently, yeah, there is, and very, very micro. Funny that your name is Microdot, but very, very tiny micro bits of spatter on the knife sheet. There should be so much more and a lot thicker. It just doesn't make sense. It's very weird as far as that's concerned. I agree. I got you, Sausage. I got you.
I would love to see Kaylee's phone activities from the time she got to the corner club.
We want to see them all.
Yeah,
Every bit of it.
I want. I saw. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's huge.
Yes,
we're never going to see it.
The health,
every bit of it.
The health info. I think I saw Lana covered the other day. I know she got denied, saying that they were saying it was personal. How is that? How is that personal information telling me how many steps that Xana took? I mean, that stuff. That's
not HIPAA violation.
That stuff is super important, and why that could really paint a picture, because from knowing the steps on their, they all had Apple phones. That could tell us a lot if you correlate the steps and you look at the timing too, of like when Dylan made certain phone calls and certain things of evidence that we have. You look at the steps and be like, this is some kind of like fuckery going on here.
Because it's very clear at the grub truck, Kaylee is on her phone.
Yeah.
The whole goddamn time.
Yes.
The whole time. I just like
also at the corner club. Watch that hour-long video of them at the corner club. Kaylee's on her phone an extensive amount of time.
Who is she talking to?
Good question.
Agreed.
Could it be?
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. I'm not saying it's factual or anything. I'm just speculating. But could it be Kaylee knew something was going down and she's feverishly just on her phone trying to do whatever she could do, get out of it. Whatever it was.
Of course it could be.
I mean, I know she contacted, I know it was her sister that said that she contacted Gower to come and pick her up from the grub truck.
I still think that when Kaylee is going nuts on her phone and turns or doesn't even turn around, she's like, Maddie, what the hell did you say to Adam?
Yeah.
Maddie says, I told him everything. I think that is what kicked this off. That's my opinion. And I think everything went to shit from that point forward. There was something that was said or put out there that got repeated to somebody, and in turn,
Yep.
all hell broke loose. And I think that it was known by the rest of these other people that weren't around that night that this was going to happen. At least it was talked about, and people were saying, "Hey, you might want to stay away from there tonight. Okay, you might not want to be around them tonight." And I don't think it was necessarily meant that it was going to be a murder, but maybe a shakedown or somebody was going to get their ass
Yeah.
whooped or something like
Yeah.
that was going to happen, and it got too far. And I think that's why nobody was there or around them that night, like they always were. And in turn, Kaylee was getting messages from people like, "Hey, I heard that such and such is going to do this, or I heard that's going to happen, and this is going to happen, so on and so forth." That's why she asked Maddie what she asked her, and then next thing you know, they get home and kablooey. You know what I mean? That's kind of where my mind has been with this for quite a long time. So,
Yeah.
but going
And
back, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. No, and I was just gonna say, no, we talked about it. We've talked about it a few times, which, you know, it's important because there's different events I think that went on here, and what's it's hard some of the stuff like to connect because like we hear obviously we know Kaylee was some kind of an attack or something happened on the second floor with Kaylee, right? But the odd thing about that, so it makes you think, okay, Kaylee went upstairs with Murphy and did she see someone was attacked? She walked in on someone attacking Maddie, and then that whole thing happened. But the thing that trying to bridge together, I still think that the event of this whole thing kicked off for Maddie and Kaylee somehow. I don't know what part of the story, but that 2:55 when their phones go silent to me is the key. Doesn't they may not have been attacked or that might not have happened at that moment, but
something
especially Kaylee, Kaylee's on her phone the whole night, every 2 seconds she's on her phone every time we see her. And then for all and on top of that, not only that, she just had what was like 10, a combination of 10 messages and phone calls to Jack Decor. And then all of a sudden the phone is silent. It's dead. So what happened then from 2:55 to 4 o'clock? It's almost like it's almost like someone somehow whatever happened kicked off at that time. Was someone there holding them? Someone had a gun, was at gunpoint or something, and something happened. She didn't just all of a sudden go to sleep or just
right. All right, I'm gonna run this here again. This was Casper West put this out 6 months ago. This plays to the timeline and shows how it's interesting the way he explains it. It's showing that about the timeline falling apart and the 4 a.m. stuff being exposed, so on and so forth. So just something to review real quick, and just to show you my point that I was trying to make at one point about that as we were talking about the timeline stuff again.
Exactly. Potentially they're the key to this whole thing.
Learning more about the timeline.
Any crime, a timeline is imperative.
Investigators piecing together a timeline.
So many questions as well. Why did the surviving roommates wait almost 8 hours after the murders to call 911?
That roommate who witnessed all that.
Why didn't she call the police after she saw him? But why were the lives of 2 roommates spared?
What is the actual timeline? Is it a secret?
Full mystery is they really just don't know.
The timeline has obviously been key. There is a gap.
But so many are wondering, okay, well, that was at what? Sometime 4 a.m.
But instead, she ran into her room and hid. And
why 911 wasn't called till around noon the next day?
And they still didn't call 911 for 8 hours? It's odd. We are allowed to ask questions about how that could happen.
Someone passed out right now. I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Pretty much last night at 4 a.m.
I believe the murders occurred around 4 a.m.
It's 4 a.m.
The murders took place between 4 a.m. and about 4:25 a.m.
And I didn't know what to do.
This is at 4
a.m., yes.
Ethan Chapin's sister-in-law posted on Reddit that D, which we understand to mean Dylan Mortensen, quote, supposedly called all the girls in the house after crying and screaming stopped, and no one answered. And she still didn't call the police. She goes on, quote, she needs to explain herself and her actions that night. She needs to explain herself and her actions that night.
The attacks did not begin at 4 a.m. We were led to believe that the roommates were asleep and attacked around 4 a.m. The same time, Dylan reportedly opened her door, saw a man dressed in black look directly at her, and then watched him walk out through the sliding glass door. The story continues that she ran downstairs to Bethany's room, locked the door, and only hours later, nearly 8 hours later, did they finally call the police. But what if I told you?
Ethan's dad, Jim, has an older child that's married to a girl, and that is who made the statement. Ethan's sister-in-law. It was from another marriage. For those of you that are questioning that, love and other habits, that's what that means.
That version of events isn't true. Why would investigators and the media lead with that narrative of what happened on the morning of November 13th, 2022? Now, with the gag order lifted and more details coming to light, that story is beginning to unravel. Anytime someone dares to question this case, they're immediately shamed for simply asking genuine questions.
And then she saw Xana down post-attack. She said she thought she was passed out, or that Dylan was out of it. I guess I just don't, I still wrestle with how could you hear your roommates screaming and sobbing and see one down and not call sooner? I'm not blaming. I just genuinely am searching.
I'm blaming.
I start the analysis with, this could be my daughter. I have 3 kids. One just graduated from college. 2 are in college. So this could be my daughter. And so my daughter could be on Megyn Kelly's show and all these networks and now being analyzed by all of you, substituting what you think you would have done in that scenario. And you're well-intended, but I sure know if this is my daughter, or this girl in particular, she's well-intended. And she did the best she could at her.
No, she didn't.
It's full of shit. This guy
No,
must
she
be
didn't.
This guy's a prosecutor. I
You're a
forgot.
fucking moron. He's a fucking idiot. No.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, he is.
yes, people act differently. Not 8 hours. Sorry. Not when you not when there's people, even if you're like, they're not your like close friend. These are people that you live with, and you can't get a hold of them, and you hear them screaming and crying.
Dude, let me say something here. Okay?
Yeah.
If you were in an apartment building and you lived upstairs in the upstairs apartment and you heard the person in the downstairs fucking apartment scream, the first fucking thing you're going to do is pick up the phone and call 911 and say, my neighbor is screaming. I don't know what's going on, but please come here and help her because something's wrong. That's what normal people, my 9-year-old granddaughter would fucking do the same thing. Okay. 9. She's 9.
This happened, and that does happen. And what you just said, that does happen all the time.
It happens all the time. You know that. You respond to that shit. I've been there. Okay. You know this. So this idiot is an idiot. Period. IDIOT. Idiot. God, I hate when people say dumb shit like this. It's stupid. Sorry to get all excited, folks, but this is the fact. But yeah, he's a prosecutor. He's an idiot. Don't worry about him.
Level of awareness at that moment. And just like Garrigo said, there's no typical way to act. It's really problematic as a defense lawyer, as a father, as a human being, to continue to hear people say, well,
oh, so he's just a stupid defense attorney then. I got you.
Yeah, all of a sudden now he's now he's a master at psychology. I don't know. Maybe you should have a discussion with with some kind of special therapist that'll tell you the way the mind works. When you get into a heightened alert, your body goes into a fight or flight response. So if you think that someone is going to hurt you or that's in the house or you're in extreme danger, you're going to act in a fight or flight. So I know people are going to say, well, did she locked herself in the bedroom? That's part of it, but you wouldn't, if you're in a fight or flight response to that level where you really think your life is in danger. Yes, it's possible that you could lock yourself in a bedroom or in a room. Absolutely. But then you're not going to go on TikTok and Snapchat and be like, okay, everything's okay now.
Well, again, he keeps referring to his daughter. Well, if this was your daughter that was in this situation, God forbid, I don't ever want that to happen, but if it was your daughter that was in this situation, you would want a typically decent person to call 911, so shut up and sit down.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
They should have done this. They could have done this without ever really hearing what they were going through and or ever being in that particular abhorrent scenario, the worst moment of your life, being questioned by law enforcement. I praise her for having the courage to answer the questions, to help out with this investigation, and nothing that she did was nefarious in any way.
But what about
Scott Peterson's nefarious. No one's suggesting it's nefarious. So and you can save your umbrage and outrage. No one's suggesting it is. There's a very odd situation here where she was way more upset and she heard a lot more than the police had revealed to us in that affidavit. She was much more aware that there was danger in the house than we've ever been told before.
So what do you think it was, Megan?
So it's a fair question to say, why is that? Why didn't the cops reveal more of that? Why did they try to keep that out of the public eye? And
there's the question and the fucking problem right there. We all know that there was much more to it. We all know that she heard way more and she didn't do a damn thing. So once again, this idiot, go ahead and sit still, be quiet now. It's not your turn to talk.
I'll tell you what that has done. This is not a Megyn Kelly theory, nor do I subscribe to it. But you take 30 seconds and Google her name online, you've got half the internet thinking she knew more.
Which should raise red flags.
Because she
did. For the past 3 years, the media has been running a nonstop campaign of gaslighting the public. Even when our intuition tells us something isn't right, they parade out an expert to convince us we're wrong.
Oh, God.
Even though those same experts once had the very same questions we do. So what changed?
I'm Vinny Politan. Thanks so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments and trying to make some sense of something that, to me...
Amen. Thank you. Okay. Here's something I've been screaming. Kim just said it flat out. Her question is now that the docs, the interviews, the body cams, Dylan's phone data, and all this other stuff has come forward, why have you not re-interviewed any of these people? Why have you not re-spoken to any of these people? You just left it lie where it was. Why? Because you have the guy in prison that you wanted to take the fall for this. Period, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because there's no other good answer for this. None. Great point, Kim, and thank you for saying that.
My question is, this is probably the only case where the mainstream media put their paws all over it and then run amok of it. I can't think of a daggone case where it was like that with the mainstream media.
There haven't been any.
Not like this.
There hasn't been nothing like this.
No.
Not only do Dylan's phone records show that her story is a lie, the story itself is not believable. It never was. You don't run past an exit if there's a man in your house at 4. No, you don't. It's stupidity. It's not even, you don't even have to have common sense to know that. It's just pure stupidity. And I'm sorry. Yes, I know. And I agree with Logan. This chick is a fucking dingbat, but nobody's that dumb. Okay. Nobody is that dumb.
Like even what you were just saying. People, the argument, even like a 9-year-old, even my son is 5 years old. Even he knows for danger to call 911. Yes. How does a 5-year-old know to call 911? But this,
exactly. Exactly. These are all facts, folks. Absolute facts.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Some of the circumstances surrounding what happened to those 4 college students. It's 4 college students. And you look at that number, 4 victims and 1 knife. How does one person, and they keep saying suspect, how does one person with 1 knife kill 4 people? No one got away? Were they trapped? Were they being threatened? I don't know. Again, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me tonight. Prosecutors need to bring their A game, need to be able to lock down the timeline, lock down this defendant.
It seems the narrative shifted. In the beginning, the media openly questioned the case. But once Kohlberger was arrested, everything flipped. Suddenly, the focus became painting him as the suspect without police ever providing clear evidence. And while ignoring the simple logic that one man alone couldn't have committed this crime, that's when I noticed they weren't reporting anymore. They were crafting a story.
Suspected Idaho killer Brian Kohlberger is leading to even more questions. However, we do have a better sense of a timeline. Based on evidence detailed in the affidavit, it's believed the murders occurred around 4 a.m.
All black and like this mask which is covering his forehead and his mouth. And I locked the door and I called and I didn't know what to do.
This is at 4
a.m. Yes.
It seems like everyone was fed the same story, that everything happened around 4 a.m. But once you learn about the cleanup at the crime scene and the staging of evidence, you have to ask, is it really far-fetched to believe they also altered the timeline? The timeline is the most crucial piece of any investigation.
Yeah, I mean, I think any timeline, any crime, a timeline is imperative. In a homicide case, it's twofold, right? So why they're not asking for more information, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, and I don't want to assume. But I am sure that they are looking into that because it is of the utmost importance to figuring out what happened here.
It establishes when the crime occurred, tests alibis, validates witness statements, and ultimately connects the pieces. If the timeline is wrong, you don't just risk confusion, you risk targeting the wrong suspect. An innocent person who happened to be nearby could look guilty, while the real suspects walk free. When evidence is misinterpreted, on top of a staged crime scene, the distortion multiplies. And that's exactly what happened here. Brian Kohlberger could not have committed these crimes in the way the state alleges. And here's why. If these attacks really happened at 4 a.m., like the media and even the surviving roommates want us to believe, then the sequence of events makes no sense. Think about it. Xana gets a DoorDash order at 3:59 a.m., goes into the kitchen, and at that exact time, the suspect supposedly enters through the sliding glass door. Instead of confronting Xana right there, we're told he heads upstairs to Kaylee and Maddie first. Kaylee then says, "Someone's here." Moments later, Xana would have had to run down from the 3rd floor, only to cross paths with the same suspect who had just been in Maddie's room, all while Ethan somehow remained asleep. Does that add up? Of course not. When you factor in the evidence of staging at the crime scene, the reason you can't make sense of the mainstream media's narrative isn't because you're confused. It's because the story itself doesn't make sense to anyone. We've been led to believe that everything presented in this case is accurate. But when I went back to examine Dylan's timeline, I couldn't verify her version of events from that night. That alone raises questions about possible tampering with timeframes or even camera footage. For example, we're told the attacks began at 4 a.m. and by 4:17 a.m., Murphy started barking, supposedly because the intruder was in the house followed by a loud thud. The public is led to believe that a single attacker could move through the house, target 4 victims in separate rooms on different floors, and accomplish all of this in just 90 seconds, with nothing more than a bark and a thud being heard. In reality, anyone would expect chaos, screaming, struggle, and commotion, especially since we know the victims were awake. According to Dylan's account, the suspect was upstairs with Kaylee and Maddie when Xana supposedly ran downstairs. But Xana was an active, alert young woman. With the layout of that house, she could have easily made it to her room to lock the door, or even escape through the sliding glass door or front entrance to call for help. Instead, what Dylan claims she heard was Xana crying in the bathroom, followed by a male voice saying, "It's okay. I'm going to help you." The troubling part, none of that is
There you go.
reflected in the camera footage shown to the public. Yet, strangely, the same phrase,
Yeah.
I just want to reiterate something about Murphy. When Dylan said that she heard Murphy and Kaylee in the second floor playing music or whatever, in the scenario that I described earlier, when Kaylee walked upstairs and seen somebody in Maddie's room, no doubt, she bolted downstairs and guy was chasing him. If she had Murphy down there with her, would that dog attack the perp to protect the owner?
It depends on the type of dog. Not all dogs are like that. Some of them are just skittish.
Yeah,
Some of
I
them
don't.
aren't.
Right. I mean, that dog was like what? It was like a year old, a little over a year.
Yeah. It
Uh,
did, depending on how they're raised and treated, they may not always. They may be more skittish than anything.
So could that be when Murphy potentially bolted out the sliding door?
I mean, it could be. That could be what happened. Yes. Definitely.
Okay, that was my thought.
No problem.
appears almost word for word in an episode of The Vampire Diaries.
No, it's okay. I'm here to help. Get away from me. I'm here to help you. Caroline, she's here.
At 4:17 a.m., Murphy allegedly began barking, supposedly upstairs, signaling the suspect's entry into Maddie's room. Yet, instead of Xana's voice or sounds of chaos, only a thud was heard. This raises serious doubts, especially when comparing the camera footage from Linda Lane around the same time. There's no dog barking, no loud thud, not even the sound of a car speeding away. So the question becomes, was the footage altered? Remember, the entire timeline comes from the roommates. If they say they were home, we assume that's true. If they claim they heard noises at certain times, we're expected to take that at face value. But the bigger issue is, are the roommates truly trustworthy? Criminal profiler Dr. Brent Turvey examined this case and personally I find his analysis far more credible than the conflicting statements we've gotten from the roommates and even law enforcement. Dr. Brent Turvey is a world-renowned forensic criminologist, criminal profiler, and crime scene analyst. Since beginning his career in 1996, he's worked across the United States, Latin America, Asia, Europe, and Australia. Over nearly 3 decades, he has investigated homicides. One of his core specialties is uncovering staged crime scenes, situations where offenders deliberately alter evidence to mislead investigators. His meticulous reconstructions often expose inconsistencies between physical evidence and false narratives, revealing the truth behind a crime. Beyond investigations, Turvey has shaped forensic education worldwide. He co-founded the Forensic Criminology Institute, authored influential textbooks such as Criminal Profiling and Introduction to Behavioral Evidence Analysis, and since 2019, has worked with the United Nations and Colombia's Attorney General's Office on femicide and staged crime scene investigations. Dr. Turvey isn't just another voice. He's an internationally recognized expert with decades of experience exposing staged crime scenes. And in this case, he stated, there's evidence of cleaning at 1122 King Road. He also concluded that multiple suspects were involved. In my opinion, a cleanup of that scale, airing out the house, removing or masking blood, would take far longer than the official timeline allows, which raises the question, if the surviving roommates delayed calling for help by 8 hours, was that delay intentional? Add to that the fact that Brian Koberger suffers from developmental coordination disorder, a condition that makes it unlikely, if not impossible, for him to carry out the crimes in the narrow time frame alleged by the state, which points to one clear conclusion. Koberger didn't commit these crimes. Moscow isn't truly safer today than it was before Koberger's arrest. What the town has is not justice, but a false sense of security.
Are the students here in Moscow, are they safe now?
Yes. Yes, our community is safe.
Over the years, the roommates have given multiple statements that are conflicting and contradictory.
Said she thought maybe there was a fire or like a firework. We didn't know. She heard this loud noise and there was a light, I guess.
Did you hear like a pop, like a bang?
I don't know. Did you hear it bang?
It's what she heard.
Okay.
That's what she heard.
Okay, never mind. You sit there. I didn't hear that.
Information between Dylan and her father needs a very specifically trained digital forensic examiner that has also worked with the military. And this is extremely interesting right here. Creation, modification, and deletion of multimedia files such as images and videos.
Roommate in the Idaho college killings failed to call 911 the night of the slayings because she apparently believed the killer was a party guest.
One of the details that we've come to learn is that she didn't think anything other than just noisy roommates was a problem. She thought her roommates were horsing around and being loud in the middle of the night. Again, quoting Dylan. Dylan again tried calling Kaylee and Xana, but neither responded. Dylan then exited her room and began running towards Bethany's bedroom. On her way, she noticed Xana lying on the floor of her bedroom with her head towards the wall and her feet towards the door. Dylan thought Xana was drunk. Once Dylan arrived downstairs at Bethany's room, they locked the door and both made additional unanswered calls to the other roommates.
It's my body reliving everything over and over again. My nervous system never got the message that it is over, and it won't let me forget what he did to them.
That's evidence of someone trying to get their story straight. But if they had simply stuck to the truth of what happened that night, they wouldn't need a story at all. The truth is often stranger than fiction. In our search for it, we face obstacles. But what if the answer has been in front of us all along? What if a key detail in the grub truck video could reveal the real timeline and lead us to the truth. According to documents, Kaylee and Maddie were last seen.
This isn't new. This came out 6 months ago, but I'm showing it to you now to make a point.
At the grub truck, while Ethan and Xana were last seen at Sigma Chi. Dylan and Bethany were the first to arrive home, followed by Kaylee and Maddie, and then Ethan and Xana. To understand what happened on the night before the slayings, we need an accurate timeline of where everyone was. Supposedly, the last picture taken was right before the roommates went to bed, around 6 p.m., after attending a party at the Whites to get ready for another party later that night, around 8 p.m. When they woke up, the party schedule continued. Bethany would attend a house party. Ethan and Xana would arrive shortly afterward. Dylan would walk over later, and Kaylee and Maddie would head to the corner club. Bethany returned home around 1 a.m., finding Dylan and a female friend watching Vampire Diaries. Kaylee and Maddie were spotted at the corner club at 1:32 a.m. On their way back, they stopped at the grub truck for a meal and called an Uber to head home. According to the driver, the 1122 King Road residence was about 3 to 4 minute drive from the grub truck. They picked up their food at 1:51 a.m., meaning they would have arrived home around 1:55 a.m. At this point, we don't actually know who was in the house, as there was no sign of forced entry. The suspects could very well have been inside, waiting for the roommates to return in order to ambush them. As Kaylee and Maddie arrived in their Uber and approached the house, Lyndon Lane's footage reportedly captured screams, sounding like two girls being attacked the moment they opened the front door. Could the suspects have been lying in wait inside the house, anticipating the roommate's return?
Police have reiterated that this appears to be a targeted attack with no signs of forced entry into the home.
According to Dr. Turvey, the suspects had a coordinated plan. I believe the home was already occupied, with the perpetrators in position before the roommates arrived. About 20 minutes later, when Ethan and Xana supposedly returned home, Lyndon Lane's footage reportedly captured a male and a female voice. Could these calls have been from Ethan and Xana? The suspects clearly had intent to stage the crime scene. But if not, how do we explain blood in areas beyond the bedrooms? There was a single latent bloody footprint near Dylan's door, blood in the kitchen, and spots on the first floor near the stairs. Even more chilling, Haley's phone called Jack multiple times between 2:40 a.m. and 3 a.m. Maddie's phone also called him, which Jack said was highly unusual. Shortly afterward, he received a text to come to the house to retrieve a vape pen, all around 3 a.m. Were the suspects trying to lure Jack to the house? Or were they trying to frame him? Jack Decor was rumored to drive a white vehicle, and police claimed a white Honda Elantra was seen speeding away from the crime scene. Had he arrived at the house, he would have immediately been on police radar as a suspect. However, Jack was allegedly sleeping during these calls and didn't respond. If Kaylee and Maddie had already been ambushed, this raises a chilling possibility. Jack wasn't called on their behalf. He may have been contacted by the suspects themselves. There was no proof of life for Xana either, and law enforcement's handling of her DoorDash order raises suspicions. They claimed Xana received an order at 3:59 a.m., but the evidence sent to Ann Taylor shows that DoorDash only had records for Ethan, not Xana. Even more suspicious, law enforcement went ahead and redacted a name from the bag in one photo. If it was Xana's name, why would they need to redact it? Sources also stated that Xana's DoorDash order was contactless.
It's 4 a.m. According to the affidavit, Xana receives a DoorDash delivery. And a source tells ABC News that the delivery is contactless and the order is left at the front door.
Could that be a coincidence? When facts are mixed in with coincidences, it's worth questioning them. Xana's body was cremated, so we may never know if she actually ate the DoorDash order. Given the circumstances of this case, I would bet she didn't. She may have never actually placed that order. Therefore, we can conclude that there's no evidence of life from the roommates between 2 a.m. for Kaylee and Maddie and 2:30 a.m. for Ethan and Xana, up until the alleged 4 a.m. attack, aside from what the surviving roommates reported. So much emphasis has been placed on the official timeline, yet after knowing there was a cleanup, it's not far-fetched to believe the crime may have occurred at different times than we've been told. What makes it even worse is the chilling reality that the bodies may have been lying there for over 10 hours overnight. The house, he would have immediately been on police radar as a suspect.
Are you talking about this, Karen? Hold on.
Could these calls have been from Ethan and Xana? The suspects clearly had intent to stage the crime scene. But if not, how do we explain blood in areas beyond the bedrooms? There was a single latent bloody footprint. Could these calls have been from Ethan and Xana? The suspects clearly had intent to stage the crime scene. But if not, how do we explain blood in areas beyond the bedrooms? There was a single latent bloody footprint near Dylan's door, blood in the kitchen, and spots on the first floor near the stairs. Even more chilling, Kaylee's phone called Jack multiple times between 2:40 a.m. and 3 a.m. Maddie's phone also called him, which Jack said was highly unusual. Shortly afterward, he received a text to come to the house to retrieve a vape pen, all around 3 a.m. Were the suspects trying to lure Jack to the house? Or were they trying to frame him? Jack Decor was rumored to drive
Bingo.
a white vehicle. A white Honda Elantra was seen speeding away from the crime scene. Had he arrived at the house, he would have immediately been on police radar as a suspect. However, Jack was allegedly sleeping during these calls and didn't respond. If Kaylee and Maddie had already been ambushed, this raises a chilling possibility. Jack wasn't called on their behalf. He may have been contacted by the suspects themselves. There was no proof of life for Xana either, and law enforcement's handling of her DoorDash order raises suspicions. They claimed Xana received an order at 3:59 a.m., but the evidence sent to Ann Taylor shows that DoorDash only had records for Ethan, not Xana. Even more suspicious, law enforcement went ahead and redacted a name from the bag in one photo. If it was Xana's name, why would they need to redact it? Sources also stated that Xana's DoorDash order was contactless.
It's 4 a.m. According to the affidavit, Zana receives a DoorDash delivery. And a source tells ABC News that the delivery is contactless and the order is left at the front door.
Could that be a coincidence? When facts are mixed in with coincidences, it's worth questioning them. Xana's body was cremated, so we may never know if she actually ate the DoorDash order. Given the circumstances of this case, I would bet she didn't. She may have never actually placed that order. Therefore, we can conclude that there's no evidence of life from the roommates between 2 a.m. for Kaylee and Maddie and 2:30 a.m. for Ethan and Xana, up until the alleged 4 a.m. attack, aside from what the surviving roommates reported. So much emphasis has been placed on the official timeline, yet after knowing there was a cleanup, it's not far-fetched to believe the crime may have occurred at different times than we've been told. What makes it even worse is the chilling reality that the bodies may have been lying there for over 10 hours overnight. What happened inside that home was sinister, but what's even more sinister is the way the roommates and the law enforcement have handled this case. Evidence tampering and cleaning up a crime scene are textbook ways to botch an investigation. In Dylan's interview with Idaho State Police, she stated that when Hunter came over, they saw Xana, but Dylan also admitted Hunter really saw something, and she knew something was wrong. So why then did they wait until later to call 911? If Hunter actually saw Xana, why did the 911 call make it seem like no one had seen them? On the call, Hunter says Ethan and Xana, as if they were just sleeping, even telling others to get out. But if he had already seen them, why stage a performance for the 911 dispatcher?
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, we gotta go check. But we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? She's not waking up.
It seems clear they are sticking to a narrative designed to prevent the truth from being pieced together. Notice how Hunter is present in almost every single body cam clip. He doesn't even live there, yet we see him more often than the actual roommates in their own home. During Kaylee's body cam, Hunter steps outside to eavesdrop. During the noise complaint, he answers the door and lies to police. And on the crime scene body cam footage, he's once again called over before police officially arrived, guiding them through the house. Who is Hunter? Why is he always around? He lied to police once. Could he lie again? One thing is certain. We see patterns, and we will uncover the truth.
To the public.
I accept that, but I think they didn't put it in there because it doesn't make Dylan look very good. Because they knew that people would say she heard screaming, she heard sobbing, and she saw Xana Kernodle down on the floor. She was scared enough, and then she laid eyes on an intruder. She was scared enough to run to the other roommate's room, and they still didn't call 911 for 8 hours. It's odd. We are allowed to ask questions about how that could happen.
They want us to believe the 4 a.m. timeline, that the roommates were asleep when the attack happened. But ask yourself, why are they pushing this narrative so hard when the evidence points elsewhere? The truth is, the story was crafted inside that house. By placing the bodies in bed, they could sell the idea that the victims were attacked in their sleep. But that story doesn't add up. And now, it started to fall apart.
Bingo. There you go. So that's probably going to do it for today, guys, because I have about an hour and a half, and I'll be back here with you guys with the verdict room, Miss Kimberly, Logan, and Mikey, and we'll be joined by Lana from Truth and Transparency. But any thoughts on that before we get out of here?
Kind of lines up with what we all believe. I mean, it's just falling apart. No doubt.
It continues to fall apart. Not just, it's not, there's nothing holding it together anymore, in my opinion. The 4 a.m. timeline it's not solid anymore, in my opinion.
If anything, it makes DM even more guilty. I mean,
yes.
I just can't see about, what are your thoughts about Bethany, Dago?
About what?
I know she's kind of, separated herself, and it just kind of, I don't know. What do you think about Bethany? You think, what do you think?
I just think, I think she knows a lot. I don't think she was as involved as I think Dylan was, but I think she knows, and I think that's what she has a fear of, is what she knows. And what it could cause for her.
Because I was talking to the chat a while ago while the video was playing. We was mentioning that the relationship between Bethany and Dylan. Do you think that's more of a friendly friendship kind of relationship, or one of those? Dylan, I
think it's a roommate relationship, is what I think. I think they live together, and that's it. I don't think they were close. Two different circles.
Knows, kind of like Bethany knows that she's kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, however it is, I think Bethany puts herself in a circle of people that's better than what Dylan and her group of friends were. I'll just say it that way. I think she believes that she's better than Dylan. Probably didn't come from a group of people like Dylan and her friends, and so on and so forth. That's just my thought. As 1-1, you still here?
Yep.
I'm here.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. Thank you again, Moto.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are able to tune in at 6 p.m. tonight for the Verdict Room Unfiltered with myself, Kim, Logan, and Mikey, and Miss Lana joining us tonight. It should be an interesting conversation. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you again, Hemi, 1-1, and everybody in the chat. Moto, you as well, guys, for joining me today. I hope you guys saw what I was pointing out earlier, why Lyndon may be both of the people in those videos. And my question to that whole thing is why and what does it mean? And then back to this again, the timeline, it just doesn't exist anymore, in my opinion. And I'm sure we'll talk about that more. Gentlemen, thank you once again. Everybody in chat, you guys are amazing. Don't forget to love yourselves, love each other. Don't change nothing. Of course, you guys are the beautiful people. And I'll see you very soon. Goodbye, everybody.
The coffee's cold, the final stain. We laid the map out in the pouring rain. No hidden corners left to creep. The dark truth woke while the city was asleep. The evidence lines up straight and true, a perfect picture of what they chose to do. The quiet street erupts in flashing light, a reckoning delivered in the night. SWAT serves the warrant, loud and clear, the sound of justice, the only thing we hear at the True Crime Cafe. We watch the suspect finally pay. The dark truth is marked and signed and sealed. The wound is closed, the name is finally healed. It's finally healed. The cafe's empty, closed for the night. We put the darkness back into the light. We'll wipe the counter, set the empty chair, and wait right here for the next secret laid bare. Until the next one.